it would be with very little precedence if Sinners could pull off Best Picture with as few precursor award wins as it has. Some people have pointed to movies like Spotlight and Parasite and Coda as films that had very few precursor wins, but got the Best Ensemble Cast win at the SAG Awards, and that kind of ended up being the momentum boost that pushed them to a surprise Best Picture wins. Though all of those movies I just named, Spotlight, Parasite, and Coda, did have another major guild or precursor win, which Sinners is lacking. If you want to find the last Best Picture winner that did it without Critics' Choice Awards, without Golden Globe Awards for Best Picture, without Directors Guild, without Producers Guild, you have to go all the way back to Crash 20 years ago. You know, every year is a different year, and precedent doesn't necessarily mean all that much, especially with some of the special circumstances this year that we've already discussed. This show, but that's the central question, I think. How real is the Sinners surge? Craig, I've asked you this question before, but now you've got to plant your flag for the final time. Who is winning Best Picture? Everything has led to this. It is Oscars Outsider, the final reckoning. This is going to be our ultimate preview and prediction show. We're going to be going through every category and telling you everything you need to know to get you ready for Hollywood's biggest night. And as is tradition around these parts, we have assembled the dream team of outsiders, the crew, the gang. You know them, you love them. We get them together every year to predict the Oscars. We've been doing this since 1929. So let's introduce yourselves, guys. I'm Dylan Ferguson. Over there is Craig Midwinter. Hey, Craig, how's it going?
Hey, real good. I'm happy to be here.
Nice. We've got Sean O'Rourke back with us. Hey, Sean.
Hey, always fun to be back. Excited for this.
Nice. And welcome back for the first time in ages, Rory Fallis. How's it going?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me back.
Nice. So we will be going through every category one at a time, giving you everything you need to know about everything there is to know. And, we usually start things off by giving you a bit of news, just an update on what's been going on in the awards race since the last time we were here a week ago. There has been some kind of late breaking results. We did have the WAG Awards, the Writers Guild Awards, which just happened last night. We're recording this on Monday the 9th. So not a huge surprise there. The One Battle After Another took adapted screenplay and Sinners took original screenplay. So anybody who was hoping for another data point that would separate the two front runners, well, they were in separate categories. So sorry. And they both won their categories. Minor awards that have happened recently. We had the Cinematography Awards, the ASC Awards recently. One Battle After Another took top prize there. If you're into sound, F1 got the top prize at the Cinema Audio Society Awards. And then the next day, yesterday, at the Motion Picture Sound Editors Awards, Sinners got Best Sound Editing, Dialogue, ADR, and Frankenstein, surprisingly, won Best Editing, Effects, and Foley. What else has happened in the last week? Do we have to talk about
a little bit of news? There's another winner you didn't mention. The Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show awarded Jessie Buckley Best Actress and Cat Hater. I don't know if you saw the news there, but I'm fired up.
I forgot about the Jessie Buckley hates cats thing. It's kind of been overshadowed by what I think we need to talk about, which is the Timothée Chalamet hates the ballet and opera thing.
Yeah.
These are dumb scandals, right? These are stupid scandals.
So dumb.
They are so dumb, but like perfect. This is exactly what I want. I like put this in my veins.
I do have a thought on the Chalamet one, which is informed from. I recently watched Nouvelle Vague.
You gotta sing it. You gotta sing it.
No. So I recently watched Nouvelle Vague, which I liked. And I also rewatched Inglourious Bastards recently. And with those in mind, I just want to underscore how important it is to have like an annoying little guy who says outlandish things about art, but nevertheless makes like good work.
All right. So so you guys all know what I'm talking about. I mean, most people listening surely have been exposed to it unless you're blissfully offline. But just to quickly resume, so we're all on the same page and everybody listening knows what we're talking about. There was like a CNN town hall that Timothée Chalamet was a part of, as if he's like running for the Democratic primary or something. I think it was February 21st that this was held, though it went online a couple days later. He was talking with Matthew McConaughey about all kinds of stuff, the fast-paced patter between those two guys covering all kinds of subjects. But they were specifically talking about kind of the state of cinema and the future of cinema going forward, and choices that some producers are making to cater to corroded audience attention spans and stuff like that. He said the line that has now been clipped many times, which is, "I don't want to be working in like ballet or opera or things where it's like, hey, keep this thing alive, even though no one cares about this anymore." Which he immediately followed up with, "All respect to all the ballet and opera people out there. I just lost 14 cents in viewership. Damn, I just took shots for no reason." Nobody seemed to notice or care at the time, but the clip did start going viral. The genesis of it going viral seems to be a post by Seth Abramovich on X. Seth Abramovich is a senior writer with The Hollywood Reporter. On Thursday evening, I guess it would have been around 3:30 p.m. California time. He posted that isolated clip with the disapproving caption, "Okay, I did not hear this. This sucks." And then there was kind of a spiraling virality throughout the day Friday, kind of accumulating, I guess, on Saturday when a lot of people started coming out with disapproving, clucking takes. Tons of posts about it on Instagram, TikTok. Articles started to come out about it. I'm being a stickler about the dates and even the time for a reason, and that's because Oscar voting closed Thursday at 5 p.m. California time.
That was going to be my question: is the voting open or closed during the scandal?
So it closed. Technically, it closed 90 minutes approximately after Seth Abramovich's post. But it hadn't, really become viral yet at that point. And obviously, most people are not voting in the final 90 minutes. So I think a lot of people are maybe voting late, and I would like to touch on that after. But the timeline basically makes it impossible for this to have influenced anybody's votes.
Right.
That doesn't mean it's irrelevant. Like, I think this might be kind of a symptom of the way that the public perception of Chalamet has changed over the course of this too long campaign, because it has been a too long award season. Craig, what was your immediate reaction when you saw that clip or heard about it?
Lol. I don't know. it's funny.
All right, so that's Craig's take.
I'm not scandalized by this. Is like I'm not.
How dare you not be scandalized?
Not scandalized by this. It's like a pretty lukewarm thing to get really fired up about, because he's not eloquent about it, but I think he's making a reasonable point that he doesn't want to be actively working in a dying art form. He wants to be kind of at the spear's tip, the cutting edge, and that tracks with what he has been saying all season, but even going back to last season, he wants to be the best. He wants to be at the tip of the spear, and I'm not surprised to hear this. And everybody is talking about how cinema is in danger, and I think that is something that the world's biggest movie star right now, who's set actually putting butts in seats in the theater, is going to be concerned about. So I don't think that he's super out of line here. Sure, it was not the best way to put it, but all the people that are fired up about this, when was the last time they were at the ballet or opera? I would guess it is not recent.
Yeah.
Rory, did you have any thoughts on this?
I feel the same way as Craig. It's the most non-scandal, because I see it, and I've seen since I feel like I've seen other clips that are this one's from 2019 and he said the same thing, and it's
I've seen that too.
So yes, he was also
he's consistent.
he was in his earlier 20s then, so even kind of more arrogant and whatever, and it's I think it has more to do with people wanting to not like Timothée Chalamet, and then he's in movies that you like and you're like, fuck him. Not the opera. Don't come for my opera.
Yeah. I'm on the same page as you guys. People need a reason to get mad at him, and this is what they've seized on, and it is a bad controversy. The people yearn for Carla Sofia Gascon. We need a real controversy again. Carla, save us.
But it's funny you bring that up because that was an opera, and like the same people that are fired up about Timothée we're trying to take down an opera.
I don't think he said anything wrong. Obviously, he saying nobody cares about it is like a rude, brusque way to say that. But everybody understands that rhetorically, the point he's trying to make is that that's a niche industry today. That is a niche art form that has a limited following, and that he does not want cinema to be that. He does not want to work in a niche art form where you have to devote your energies into sustaining the existence of your art form when you'd rather be devoting your energies to practicing your art and in the spotlight.
And that's what he should have said. Exactly.
He should have thought on his feet faster when McConaughey was
slide into his DMs.
But my take is basically, I think that I don't want Timmy to change. I like that he's out there. He's really saying what's on his mind all the time. He's very voluble. He's very excitable. And I want a movie star to be like that. I want a movie star to not be afraid to express themselves. I don't want a movie star to be like Leo DiCaprio, who doesn't want to say anything unless it's like a vague presidential statement. I don't necessarily want a movie star to be like Tom Cruise, who's decided that his public role is to be a cheerleader for the general concept of movies themselves, but has no specific opinions about anything, apparently. I also don't want a movie star to be like Sean Penn, who is just performing the idea of blasé detachment so that everybody knows that he's cooler than this lame industry he happens to work in. I want a movie star to be like excitable and talkative and to be deeply engaged in the art form as an art form and as a business, because that's a big part of it too. And I want them to have opinions. So I have nothing wrong with this, and I hope he doesn't. I hope Timmy doesn't change. But yeah, it does. And we'll talk about this maybe when we get to the best actor category 5 hours down the road. But it may. The way that so many people have leaped on this definitely shows how much of an appetite there was out there for people to be like, he's just got to slip up once and I'm jumping all over him.
Totally. Yeah.
Now the cat thing though, that pissed me off.
That was messed up.
Me off too. That I got more of like an actual emotional reaction to that than I did the Timothée thing. Just like, like a huge cat lover here, so like it struck a nerve, but it just is like it was the way it came across as just being like so, I don't know, flippant and laughing about it. Like, I made my husband get rid of his cats because I don't like them.
Nothing to me.
Yeah, it is a stupid little scandal, but also I was like, fuck Jessie Buckley. I don't want her to win. I said that on the podcast before she even said that. I even don't want her to win.
Yeah.
I think that Jessie Buckley HQ has done a bunch of damage control on this, because I saw it. And I saw a reference to it on her Wikipedia page, which my customary Wikipedia skim before the podcast. And then the next day I was talking to a friend about it, and I checked and it was gone from the Wikipedia page. And then when I went to go Google, all of the news articles were like, Jessie Buckley clarifies stance on cats with I think a Fallon interview. So my sense is that it's being taken quite seriously.
Whereas Timothée Chalamet, like thousands of ballerinas are clamoring for a public apology, is currently in China, like going on game shows and like tasting sweet tea and having a good grand old time, it seems like. So as I mentioned earlier, it does seem like a lot of people are voting later, and there is a reason for that. So this is something that I wanted to mention briefly, because me and you, Craig, we have not yet talked about on the show the fact that there is a wrinkle to the voting that has been added this year. The horrible, brutal tyrants that run the Academy are legislating that everybody has to actually see the movies to vote on a category. I don't know what the hell they're thinking. They expect these people to actually watch films. So as you may or may not know, for several years by now, the Academy has worked with an online screening room, kind of their own cute little Netflix, where they put all the nominated movies in there. And it's been the case for a couple of years, I think now, that for some niche categories like, documentary and the shorts, you have to have actually watched the movies in the screening room, has to have recorded that you have played the movie all the way through before that category becomes unlocked and you can actually vote on it. This year, for the first time, they instituted that for every category, requiring, in theory, Academy voters to have seen every movie before it's able to be voted on. Of course, there's a workaround, because if you see the movie in theaters, you have to be able to still say that you've seen it. So
you gotta swear on a DVD copy of The Passion of the Christ.
Yeah. When they first reference this, there is reference to if you indicate that I saw this movie in the theaters, you'd have to indicate like the date and the specific theater you saw it at. I'm not sure if they actually followed through with that, but what I've been seeing from like anonymous ballots and what some Academy voters have been saying, it sounds like you just check a box and say, I have seen this movie. And people were talking earlier in the season about how like, oh, this is going to change things because even though you could theoretically work around it, everybody's going to feel obligated now, and they're going to feel too much guilt and shame if they dare lie. Now we have some anonymous ballots that have come out, and surprise, it sounds like everybody's just cheating and not seeing all the movies. But regardless, it does seem like, from what people have been saying, from what some Academy voters have been saying, that this requirement to do your homework has made a lot of people enter their ballots later in the voting period than they normally would have, because they're trying, at least in good faith, to get caught up before they make their vote. Craig, do you think that this change in voting habits, anecdotally, could be something that is affecting the results?
So I do think that this is going to impact the results, not so much in like getting a higher quality result, whatever that means. Like, I don't think that it's going to result in many people seeing that many more movies. I think it might a little bit, but I think the big thing is that it's pushing the votes later. So we are seeing like these last minute things potentially impacting the way that people are voting. Like this last minute Jessie Buckley scandal, because so many people are voting late, it could potentially impact her vote. I think that her win is pretty secure. I don't think that this scandal in particular is enough to completely derail that. But I do think that the late voting is going to have a bit of an impact. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. And that is actually one of the reasons why I think we have to take the Sinner surge more seriously.
Totally.
Yeah. The Screen Actors Guild Awards, the Actors Awards, as they've rebranded them this year, were held on Sunday the 1st, which means that there is only like 5 days of voting left. And at the Actors Awards, of course, as we've discussed on the podcast, it was a huge night for Sinners. They got the Best Ensemble Cast Award. Michael B. Jordan got Best Actor Award. There was a huge response in the room, just tons of enthusiasm. Normally, with only 5 days left in voting, I would be like, okay, maybe that's a bellwether, but it's not going to change anything because people have voted. If it's true, as people are saying, that so many people are voting last minute, and you definitely are seeing a lot of people in Hollywood like posting, like, in the last day or two, like, oh, I just got my vote, and now
they've got their I voted sticker on.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got the ink on their finger. The momentum could be real. If there's just so many people that are yet to cast the vote, that sense of momentum, that bandwagoning, that like, oh, there's suddenly a bunch of enthusiasm around Sinners. Great. I'm going to, I was on the fence before, and now I want to hitch my wagon to that. I think that could be something that makes the Sinners surge more real specifically this year.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to Best Picture a bit later tonight, of course. Craig, did you have any other things that happened in the past week that you think we have to talk about?
No, well, there is one. I don't know if we're going to predict the winner of the In Memoriam this year, but
for sure.
I do think that we have a little bit of late information. Maybe we'll save it for that.
Yeah. Put a pin in it. We will.
I'm teasing. We're going to announce that someone died. We're breaking it here.
I've been hiding this information from the world just to surprise our listeners.
Wait till I open this door behind me.
If it happened today, it'll be a surprise to me because I haven't heard about it.
So I also want to mention that longtime listeners of Oscars Outsider will know that we started this mini podcast series out by playing a sort of fantasy draft game where we draft different contenders way back in December, before even the Golden Globes nominations were out. And we picked which movies we thought would garner the most nominations and especially the most wins at various awards shows throughout the season, but specifically in the Oscars, it's weighted to provide more value to the Oscars. Craig, the awards, the fantasy race is getting really tight. Like it is. So right now, if these numbers are up to date, it looks like that you are in the lead with 492 points. I'm in the lead with 482 points. Best picture win is valued at 20 points. So you know what? I think this is all going to come down to best picture,
wow.
which is awesome.
Yeah, this is crazy. I think that I am shocked that it is this close with this many points awarded.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And for the record, Craig is holding One Battle After Another, and I am holding Sinners. So which one wins Best Picture is very likely, I would say, going to be the deciding factor that'll swing the balance of this race. All right,
I'm just looking at the point totals for the films, and I'm kind of surprised that Frankenstein is in like the mid-range point getters here with 83 points already.
Yeah, well, Frankenstein has done fairly well in terms of being nominated.
Oh, it's all the craft stuff.
There's a lot of craft stuff.
They've really stitched together a lot of different branches.
Jacob Elordi has got a win too. Oh my god.
But Jacob Elordi won at the Critics' Choice, which we were not counting.
Right, yeah.
So that's not even his nominations are on there, but his win he doesn't have any wins in there. But yeah, those nominations do count because we do weight acting nominations for a bit more. Yeah, we'll see how that plays out. So before we get to the category by category breakdown, there's one more tradition we have to do. We over here at Oscars Outsider like to have an Oscars drinking game ready for watching the ceremony because we think that the best way, maybe the only way to sit through an Academy Award ceremony is, well, knocking back one bottle after another. So we are going to each propose some new rules for this year's updated drinking game to give you an idea of what the drinking game rules look like. A couple classics that I like to have on every year are the shorter or taller game. When they announce two presenters, you have to shout out which one you think is going to be taller and drink if you're wrong. There's the classic drink them off rule, where if somebody is giving an acceptance speech and the orchestra starts playing them off, you have to start drinking and continue drinking until they stop talking. That I can tell you that at my Oscars party last year, that Adrian Brody got a lot of people really wasted at the end of the night. Craig, do you have any new rules to propose for the latest edition?
Yeah, so I have two. The first one is if someone gets vaguely political but not committing to anything specific in their speech, then you have to take a drink. So I think we'll get lots of time in times like these, or not like pretending that they're gesturing at something, but not actually saying anything. So vaguely political is a drink. And also I think you should take a drink when they inevitably reference the move to streaming for the ceremonies next year.
Yeah. Rory, do you got any rules to propose?
I got a couple. They're both host related. Nice. So I think drink when Conan references his hair in some way.
Okay, yeah.
And then I think this one's kind of requires a certain set of circumstances. So you have to finish your drink if they cut to Tilda Swinton and reference her looks in comparison to Conan O'Brien. Now that relies on Tilda Swinton being there. I don't know, but
have they ever been in the same room at the same time? Because I'm starting to put something together in my mind here.
And then I was trying to think of what the joke about Hemnet would be, but I couldn't think of it. So they'll do a better job of that than me.
How about you, Sean?
I just have a very specific one, which is to drink whenever Ed Harris appears on screen looking grumpy, which with the Amy Madigan
next
nomination,
to his wife, so yeah,
we'll get a few. And then I want to fall back on Old Faithful of anytime someone either butchers or over spices a non-English name. I think we might have some fun with the Norwegians.
Dr. Lilias. That should be a good one.
And then drink a few small beers if the price of crude oil goes over $120 during the show.
Nice. Like the Ed Harris one, I like the rules where it's like if they show a reaction shot of somebody in the audience, those are always the ones that I like. So I was going to say that you drink every time there's a reaction shot of Leo DiCaprio, where his reaction is just his usual, like, inscrutable gimlet-eyed squint with a rigid half smile. And also take one drink every time they show Sean Penn, where he looks like something you just pulled out of the pocket in a pair of pants that went through the dryer and you forgot it was in there. I'll say 2 drinks for any ballet opera joke, because I'm not sure we're going to get any, but I think there's a good chance. And a solid 3 drink salute to anyone who has the courage to attempt a Tourette's joke.
Yeah.
I was thinking, like, if there was a way to incorporate, like, tossing a ping pong ball into someone's drink as kind of a nod to Marty Supreme, that might be a good rule, but I couldn't find a way to work it in. So
Jimmy Kimmel isn't hosting this year, Craig, so doing that
shit. Well, drop it in the comments if you got a better idea than that.
Nice. All right. Should we get into our category by category preview?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Hell yeah. So I'm going to be going through this in the order that the awards were handed out last year, which was a pretty chaotic order. It was kind of all over the place. So that's fun. I like that. They started things off with Best Supporting Actor. So that's cool, because Best Supporting Actor might be this year the most, like, chaotic and unpredictable of all the categories. After Jacob Elordi had that Critics' Choice Award win early, like I mentioned, Stellan Skarsgård got the Golden Globe, and just when people were thinking, the Battle Boys are splitting the vote, there's a Sean Penn surge at the end of the season where he got wins at the BAFTAs and at the Actors Awards, 2 ceremonies which he did not attend because he's making a big deal out of not campaigning. Benicio del Toro is not necessarily out of this either, and do not count out Delroy Lindo, who, despite not being even nominated for any notable precursors, could be a force here. I think the rising sinners tide could raise all sinners ships, and his name has definitely been on some of those anonymous ballots. I think a lot of people want to give him and that performance some love. It really could be just anybody's game. Craig, who do you got? Who's your pick?
So I think that this is going to Sean Penn. That just feels like where the late stage momentum is, but Delroy Lindo both would be a surprise and also not a surprise, like you said. I think one thing that's interesting about the anonymous ballots, at least I think I read this on Reddit, was that Sinners wasn't polling anywhere below, like, second in any of the categories that it's nominated in across the anonymous ballots that were released. So that is not to be discounted.
Yeah.
It still feels like this might be one that Sinners misses. I think Sean Penn is where it's at. What about you?
Yeah, it definitely, to your point about the Sinners being, like, all over high on all the ballots for people who like Sinners. I think it feels like on some of these anonymous ballots that there are some people in Hollywood who are almost treating Sinners like their political party, and they're voting the slate up and down the ballot. So that's the thing that could that could definitely help out Delroy and makes him that dark horse candidate. It really comes down to, is the Sean Penn surge real? Do you think, while we're on the topic, that people in Hollywood really dig his, like, his performative, I do not care about any of this stuff, where he's clearly making a point of when he does give a public appearance, like messing up his hair, making his tie loose. He was smoking darts at the Golden Globes. Do you think people in Hollywood are like, hell yeah, cool guy? That's a guy who only cares about the art, or do you think people are like, no, I'm over this loser?
I don't think it's registering either way. It feels like it's a show for the like non-Hollywood people, and for himself. Yeah.
In my memory of him at the Golden Globes with the dart, there's one in his mouth and one in his hand. I know that's not what happened, but that's the aura of that.
Another one behind the ear, and that was the energy he was giving. If he wasn't doing that, he would be like, oh, it's a good idea. I should have do that in the Oscars. He's gonna rock up with like a bottle in a brown paper bag. But yeah, my pick, I'm going to go with Sean Penn. I think the surge is real enough, and it's just the kind of performance that it's such a performance. Like there's such a suite of tics and mannerisms and ways of walking that are so like developed. And it, as I've mentioned before, when we've talked about One Battle After Another, it both impresses me and annoys the hell out of me how much of a performance it is. But I think voters do go for that, and I think with the 2 wins, he does have the momentum behind him. That's who I'll pick. Rory, who would you pick for this award?
Well, first of all, I have a question. So the award that Jacob Elordi won, was it supporting actor or was it
supporting?
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, this is one of those. This is the most egregious category for me of like
category fraud.
Big time. I don't feel that Jacob Elordi was supporting. I think he was a co-lead with Oscar Isaac. To me, having just watched Frankenstein, and Stellan Skarsgård as well, is like, he's the driving force of that movie. So I think the both of them is like, okay, I guess.
Call the cops. No, but you're right. I actually did see somebody like the breakdown of the percentage of screen time each actor has, and Jacob Elordi and Stellan Skarsgård were both in like I think the 35% range, which is higher than the percentage of screen time that Leonardo DiCaprio has in One Battle After Another. So you've got a point.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I mean, Kieran Culkin won this last year.
Exactly.
That was
well being a clear lead. Yeah. We do need some rules for this category because it's getting completely out of hand. But Rory, I need your pick still.
Yeah. So I'm not following the lead up. I feel like Jacob Elordi would win, but that's taking out, the track record and all that. I think for me, the performance I enjoyed the most was probably Benicio del Toro in One Battle After Another, in terms of like true supporting actor, just like comes in, does this thing, moves the movie along, and is entertaining as all hell. So
yeah. Craig, I have your pick. What's your preference? Who would you like to see win most?
You know what? I liked Benicio del Toro better than Sean Penn in One Battle After Another. And of these, I think that is the performance I like the most. I really love the treatment of Benicio del Toro's character. A lot of that has to do with Paul Thomas Anderson's directing, but the sensei who's like always like deeply breathing and so calm through everything, just like, I don't know, it's just like such a great character and he nails it. So I like that better. It's a slightly more subtle than Sean Penn, just slightly. I mean, it's slightly still like, but yeah, that's my pick.
All right, Sean, give us a pick and a preference.
Yeah, my preference is also Benicio del Toro. I had a lot of shuffling on the list, but he ended up on top. I do think Stellan Skarsgård was a pretty egregious category fraud for me. I don't know about like, this is a very much know it when I see it kind of thing rather than setting rules, but I feel like in sentimental value, it's very much a story about Nora and Gustav as like
the star is the house, Sean.
Okay, it's about a house and Nora and Gustav. I didn't think about the Frankenstein as much, but that does make sense. That feels like a co-lead. In terms of my prediction, I'm going to lean into being a real Oscars outsider and leave it up to chance. I thought I had a D20, but I don't. So I took all the face cards out of this deck of cards, and that's divisible by 5, so it's going to work fine. And the winner of Best Supporting Actor will be number 2, Delroy Lindo.
All right.
Okay, that
Book
might
it.
come true.
Nice. And I'll just say in terms of preference, I think I'm with all you guys. Benicio was my favorite. He ruled in that movie.
Hell yeah.
All right, moving on. Next, we have Best Animated Feature, which is my personal favorite category, as all you guys know. We've got, let's see what we have here. Arco, Elio. Sorry. I go to an Italian barber. I think both of those guys have cut my hair. K-pop Demon Hunters. Know what that is? Yeah. Little Amelie, or the character of Rain, and Zootopia 2. The smart money seems to be to pick K-pop Demon Hunters, which is a big hit this year. So that's what I'm picking. Craig.
Yeah, I mean, that feels like maybe it's smart. I have no idea. This always surprises me. Sometimes it seems like they go for whatever the most like commercial Disney is. Often they like go for the biggest commercial, but sometimes they like go out of left field here. I think smart money is on K-pop Demon Hunters. I'm gonna choose that for my pick. My preference is Zootopia 2, though. So yeah, just putting that out there.
All right, big Zootopia guy.
Yeah.
Rory, do you have a pick for this one?
I've only heard of K-pop Demon Hunters, so that's my pick.
How about you, Sean?
Yeah, I haven't seen any of these. I don't know. The deck of cards says Zootopia 2.
All right. Bold.
Hell yeah.
Okay, there's also Best Animated Short. The nominees are called Butterfly, Forever Green, The Girl Who Cried Pearls, Retirement Plan, and The Three Sisters. I am just going to go like what the betting odds are showing, and it looks like there's like a kind of, some are saying Butterfly and some are saying The Girl Who Cried Pearls. I'm going to go with Butterfly just because of that. Any of you guys have any thoughts or picks for this category?
I got nothing.
No.
Craig, what's your pick?
Butterfly, again, like you said, that's where the odds were last time I checked, and it just like kind of looks like it's got more of a distinct art style. I have not seen this, but yeah, makes sense.
All right, lock it in. Best Costume Design. So we get to our first crafts category of the night. The nominees for Best Costume Design this year are Avatar. A bit of a surprise to see it in there, but Avatar makes it in the list along with Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, and Sinners. One thing that's interesting about this is Ruth E. Carter, who designed the costumes for Sinners. This is already her 5th nomination, and she's won twice for each of the Black Panther films. Oh. A funny tidbit for me about the costumes in Sinner is that some of them Carter originally designed for the long-delayed and since abandoned Blade reboot that she ended up just repurposing for this movie.
Oh, wow. It's
Craig,
been that long. Wow.
Yeah. Craig, who's your pick?
I'm going to go with Sinners here. I think it's going to be one of those categories that is going to get the boost from the enthusiasm here. Yeah, that's my pick.
Rory?
Yeah, I like Sinners the best, like costumes, and I think it'll win as well. So it's both preference and pick.
And Sean?
Sinners is definitely my preference out of them. The random pick is number 9. That'll also be Sinners. Good.
Oh, okay. Wow, they line up. Wow. The stars align. I'm surprised that nobody is going with the 19th century costume drama. I would go with Frankenstein. I feel like it's always unwise to bet against a 19th century costume drama. In Best Costume Design, Frankenstein is a big crafts player. So I pick Frankenstein. If I was going for my preference, I would probably go with Marty Supreme, which I think has really great design.
That was close for me too.
This gets interesting. Next, we move on to the Screenplay Awards. So let's start with Best Original Screenplay. The nominees are Blue Moon, written by Robert Kaplow. It Was Just an Accident, written by Jafar Panahi and some collaborators. Marty Supreme, that's Ronnie Bronstein and Josh Safdie. Sentimental Value, Eskil Vogt and Joachim Trier. Sinners, written by Ryan Coogler. Craig, do you have a pick for Best Original Screenplay?
I'm going Sinners again here. It's got the WGA in this category. It's got the momentum. I think it makes the most sense.
Rory?
I haven't, caveat, have not seen Blue Moon or It Was Just an Accident. I agree with Craig that I think Sinners will probably take it, but I think my personal pick for original screenplay is Marty Supreme.
All right. Yeah. How about you, Sean?
My preference is It Was Just an Accident. I really like that one.
Nice.
Although Blue Moon is a close second on my list. My analog randomizer says Blue Moon.
All right. Stars line again. Yeah, I think this is an easy pick for Sinners to win. Maybe I shouldn't get too cocky and say easy, but Sinners has won like writing awards that have come up throughout the season. If there's one place where they're really going to rally behind Sinners, I think it is in the original screenplay. So I think that's the winner. If I had to pick a preference, I would probably go with Blue Moon. I don't know. I like Blue Moon a lot. It is a one act play with maybe too many like a little Easter eggs about other artists and some slightly annoying stuff. But I still thought it's a lot of fun.
It's like just on this side of tolerable for that kind of thing for me. I do really like Richard Linklater's mid-century cinematic universe that he's coming up with now.
Yeah. All right, so let's do adapted screenplay. The nominees for that are Begonia, written by Will Tracy, Frankenstein, written by Del Toro, Hamnet, written by Chloe Zhao and Maggie O'Farrell, who wrote the novel it's based on, One Battle After Another, Paul Thomas Anderson, and Train Dreams, which is Clint Bentley and Greg Quidar, if that's how it's said. Craig, who are you picking for adapted?
I mean, here it seems like the clear pick is One Battle After Another, so that's where I would put my money. Possible Begonia comes in and surprises us in this category, I think. But that's what I thought.
That would be a spicy surprise. What about you, Rory?
Yeah, I think I pretty much agree with Craig. I think One Battle After Another probably will take it. And then it's kind of a toss-up for me between One Battle After Another and Begonia. I liked both of those scripts quite a bit.
All right. And Sean?
Yeah, I have One Battle After Another and Begonia 1-2 also. The Train Dreams adaptation really annoyed me. I just want to point that out. More to say on that later. And my prediction is going to be Begonia.
All right. I should say now that you mentioned it, I don't think I mentioned this off the top, but at the end of the show, we are going to be ranking the Best Picture nominees, or at least the ones we've seen. If we haven't seen them all, we're going to be ranking them all. So we will be able to compare notes on that a bit later at the end of the show. So yeah, my pick to win is One Battle After Another. Like Sinners, it feels like this has been just the front runner all year. This seems like a very strong candidate to win. I would probably take it as my preference too. After the Screenplay Awards, we're going to move on to Best Makeup and Hairstyling. And the nominees are Frankenstein, Sinners, The Smashing Machine, Kokuho, and The Ugly Stepsister. I just want to say it is nice to see some other titles popping up here because this has been a very top heavy slate this year. And at the Oscars, there's the six big films have really been dominating every category. So I like that. At least in some awards, we have some different ones showing up. Out of those, which one do you think is the winner, Craig?
Okay, so stick with me here. I think that probably the smart money is on Sinners, but Kakuho, I just have a feeling that this might be a little bit of a surprise. I know I'm wrong on this, but I'm still going to pick this as my pick here, just in case I look like a genius later.
That's how it works.
That's my strategy.
Let's go for it.
Okay. Rory,
I think Frankenstein will probably take it. I really liked the Ugly Stepsister makeup. I thought it was great. And I haven't seen The Smashing Machine, but I have seen those screenshots of The Rock. I don't know. That's that.
Sean,
do you have a pick or a preference for this category?
I've only seen two of these, Frankenstein and Sinners. So I don't know. I guess my preference is, I like Sinners as a movie better. I do like the trailer for the Smashing Machines showcase of its makeup. Looks cool. My randomized pick is whatever The Ugly Stepsister is.
All right. Yeah, it's the Best Makeup and Hairstyling Award. They should They should almost just rename it the Best Facial Prosthetics Award, because that's really what it's become. And I think they're going to go with Frankenstein, because that's the movie where the lead, the supporting actor wears heavy facial prosthetics throughout the whole thing that are very obvious. And again, I see Frankenstein as a huge player in all the crafts. I pick Frankenstein for this. There's two I haven't seen in here, so I don't really have a preference. Let's move on to Best Film Editing. So the nominees for editing this year are F1, edited by Stephen Mirioni, Marty Supreme, edited by Ronnie Bronstein and Josh Safdie, One Battle After Another, and Jurgensen, Sentimental Value, edited by Olivier Bougie-Coutet. Kind of surprised to see Sentimental Value in there, by the way, but it's fun to have just a talky drama in Best Editing. They don't usually slip those in there. And Sinners, Michael P. Shover, editor. Craig, who you got?
Vroom, vroom, F1, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that F1 might take it. The fact that it got a Best Picture nomination is it surprised people. It didn't surprise me. I had it. If you go back to our back catalog, see how much of a genius I am. So I think that it could actually take this. The only thing that makes me doubt it is this late push for Sinners. I feel like Sinners has a better chance of taking this than Best Makeup, just because this is a category that I think a lot of voters will have seen all of these movies. So I think there's probably going to be more votes in this. And so it's more likely to get upset by that surge. So maybe, again, this is me making a dumb pick. Clown emojis in the comments, but I'm going to pick F1. In terms of what I like the best, I thought that Marty Supreme had great editing. I thought that One Battle After Another had fantastic editing. I think One Battle After Another had my favorite editing out of all of this, but F1 had the most editing, I feel like. So that's kind of my justification there.
Yeah, a racing movie is the kind of thing that often wins editing awards, because the heart of the movie is scenes. Racing scenes are scenes that are built in the editing suite, right? Like that's the kind of thing that is in editing scene as much as anything else. So it does feel like the kind of movie that could win this, but it is worth noting that at the recent Eddie Awards, the Editing Union Awards, they gave their two top awards to Sinners and One Battle After Another, each of the front runners.
Okay.
The Eddie Awards often don't align with the Oscars, to be clear, so it's not super predictive, but it is interesting to see that they did not pick F1 at the Eddie Awards. They went with the two front runners in the two different categories. Rory, what you got?
Yeah, I'm with you guys. Spoilers, have not seen F1, but just based on the type of movie it is, I was like, that is going to win an editing award for sure. And I agree with Craig completely. I think I like One Battle After Another and Marty Supreme both were kind of neck and neck in terms of preference for editing for me.
Okay. Does Sean have a pick or a preference or a randomized game of chance?
I always have such trouble ranking editing. I feel like I notice when it's bad more than I notice when I really like it. The ones that stand out most to me are One Battle and probably F1, and One Battle mostly for the car chase. So this is more of like a Cargo Fast award for me, I guess. Randomized pick is Sentimental Value. All right.
Wait, did you just say that the Cargo Fast pick is not F1?
My randomized pick is Sentimental Value.
Okay, all right.
For Cargo Fast Award.
Okay, got it. It's true. Editing is hard to judge, because it's also what part of the editing are you judging? I will say, for One Battle After Another, I did. I really don't think the best way to judge editing is that film just blew by. It felt like it wasn't long at all. A lot of people do talk about editing that way. I don't think that's the best way to judge it. Sometimes you want it to feel long, but with One Battle After Another in particular, that's a 3-hour movie that I felt was an hour and a half. I felt like that was amazing. So that's probably my pick. Also, the car chase scene, which I loved. Editing is a big part of that. So I feel like that's a big part of what made that movie so good to me, and that's my pick to win. I think that One Battle After Another takes this. I could see any of F1 or Sinners or One Battle After Another if there is that rising Sinners tide that leads to a lot of wins, which is possible. Sinners has broken the nominations record. It is not unthinkable that it could break the record for wins, so that is very unlikely, I think. But I could see Sinners take this, but I'm going to pick One Battle After Another.
What is the record for wins?
Yeah.
11.
Is it 11 still? Because that was what, Return of the King and then something else after that too,
Return
right?
of the King, I think, and Titanic, and I believe Gone with the Wind or All About Eve.
Okay. I thought there's nothing since Return of the King. I thought there was something since then, but
you know what? I don't.
You guys would know better than
bullshit on the podcast.
You know who would know? The people watching. Leave it in the comments.
There you go.
There you go. 3 films. Oh no, I got the earlier one wrong. It was actually Ben-Hur that has also won 11 Oscars. Lord of the Rings, Titanic, and Ben-Hur have each won 11. So Sinners would need 11 to tie and 12 to break the record. Ooh, we've got a really spicy one next. Best Supporting Actress. I really think this is going to be a huge bellwether, depending at what point in the ceremony that actually comes up, because unless I'm mistaken, they have not announced the order of presentations. If Best Supporting Actress comes early in the ceremony, which it sometimes does, this could be a really huge indication of which of the 2 front runners is pulling ahead. If we do see that the Best Supporting Actress award go to Tiana Taylor, that's a huge sign that One Battle After Another is in super solid standing and is crossing that, and is likely crossing that finish line. If we see Wunmi Masaku take Best Supporting Actress, the Sinner surge is definitely real at that point. If we see Amy Madigan take Best Supporting Actress, that means that it's still totally up in the air. If we see Elle Fanning take Best Supporting Actress, that means you need to wake up, Elle. You fell asleep. You're dreaming again. Babe, you were snoring. And there's also Inga Ibsdottir Lilias, who's and if she wins, then let's hope that Kieran Culkin has been practicing his pronunciation. Craig, who do you pick for this one?
Yeah, this is like
This is a tough one. This is a really the 2 supporting categories are so chaotic this year. It's great. I love it.
I think this one is even harder to predict than Best Supporting Actor. I feel like maybe Wunmi will win it. I mean, she's got the BAFTA. I know that you're going to point to the fact that she's British, but I just
name and
feel,
shame. Every Brit needs to be called out. I feel like this night is going to go Sinner's way, and I think that this is going to go her way. She's got a great performance in that movie. Tiana Taylor is like my favorite out of this category. I think her performance just has like so much like dynamicism and also subtlety to it at the same time. It's very complex and just like really great. So I hope that Tiana wins, but yeah. Okay. Rory, who do you think will win?
Oh man, I do not know. I have no idea who will win this category. I think probably Tiana Taylor, but I don't know. I liked Amy Madigan's performance in Weapons. Like, it's way over the top, but it was fun, so it stood out to me. I think that's my preference pick.
All right, Sean, do you have either a pick or a preference?
I think this one was really hard for me to rank. My preference ultimately is Wunmi Masaku. I think just by a nose, I like that one. I really like her and Inga Ibsdottir Lilias and Tiana Taylor's performances quite a bit. My deck of cards pick is Elle Fanning. So see how that goes.
There you go.
Okay, I really like her performance in there. I know, like, I thought she had a really good performance. They're just putting that on record.
Yeah, I really like that movie. I don't think she's going to win this at all, though.
Not a shot in hell. But she's lucky to be nominated. She was a surprise when she was nominated. So it should be Chase Infinity sitting there probably. But
Elle Fanning might win Best Jeans, but I think they didn't add that this year.
Sydney Sweeney, maybe.
Yeah. I'm going to pick Amy Madigan to win. I think she won at the Actors Awards recently, so that's a strong indication that that possibility is very much back on the table. It feels very supporting actor-y. This is, like you said, Rory, it's a very over-the-top performance. It's a very performance-y performance. I think Amy Madigan is well-liked. She's been a Hollywood jobber for a very long time.
It'd be like a Jamie Lee Curtis type thing.
Kind of, yeah, exactly. Just kind of an industry veteran that a lot of people know and like. And put together a pretty remarkable, exaggerated performance. Supporting, they often like things that are a little wackier than what they honor in the lead categories. So that feels like a supporting actress kind of win there. The people who are all about One Battle or all about Sinners could easily change that, but I'm going to pick Amy Madigan. There's a lot of good performances here, but in terms of my personal preference, I think I would have to give it to Teyana Taylor. I just think that character being this kind of Sphinx-like monolith at the heart of the movie, which is such a huge part of why it works, wouldn't work that way if we weren't like so kind of beguiled by her character and what we know about her, and specifically what we don't know about her. And I thought that was really really great casting and a really great performance by her. So that's maybe what I'd go with my personal preference, though it's tough. Mm-hmm. So let's move on to Best Production Design. For this one, we have, again, a familiar lineup of frontrunners: Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. Craig, who are you picking?
So I think I don't know. This is a tough one to call as well, but I feel like this is going to be a Sinners momentum win. My preference is actually Marty Supreme. I think that had fantastic production design. Nothing else to say about that.
All right.
It's the way I feel.
That's a new one. Nice.
Yeah,
love the soundboard. All right. Rory, any picks or preferences for this?
I'm with Craig. I think my preference is actually Marty Supreme. I think this is one that could go either to Frankenstein or Sinners.
Nice. How about you, Sean? Picks or preferences?
I didn't rank a preference. Shout out to Frankenstein for being very damp and overblown.
It's a very wet movie.
Yeah, that's the best part. My RNG pick is Hamnet.
Okay, interesting. I'm glad you guys are giving love to the production design of Marty Supreme, because I love that too. I thought that was one of the best parts of the movie. I think it just wouldn't have worked if the world didn't feel lived in and like the 1950s, because not much about the performances and the stories would have communicated that if the production design wasn't so good. It has production design by Jack Fisk, who's a legend in the industry. He's done every Terrence Malick film, as well as some films for De Palma, Lynch, Paul Thomas Anderson, and Scorsese. Probably the best in the biz, and you really see how good his work is in Marty Supreme, but he's never won before. He's never won Best Production Design, so he would be my preference. I don't think he wins, though. My pick is Sinners. I think this could easily go to Frankenstein again, because I see it as such a heavy crafts player. I could easily see it getting the period piece trifecta of makeup, costumes, and production design. I did pick it for makeup and costumes, but I'll go with Sinners for this one. This is one that I think that, again, love for Sinners and the world of Sinners, the world that it creates, is might generate enough votes to pull it over the top. Okay, moving on. We've got Best Original Song. This category was very surprising. We had some fun with this when we reacted to the nominations originally. So the nominees are Dear Me from Diane Warren, Relentless; Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters. There we go. I Lied to You from Sinners; Sweet Dreams of Joy from Viva Verdi. Craig, hit the Sweet Dreams of Joy button on your soundboard. Let's go. And finally, Train Dreams by Nick Cave from the hit motion picture Train Dreams. Craig, what do you think's gonna win?
Well, you know what? I think we're gonna be golden. Actually, you know what? I think that Sinners does have a chance at pulling the upset here. This feels like it's K-pop Demon Hunters to lose, but at the same time, it's not campaigning in any real capacity in any of the real awards other than, it's not in any of the real awards. It's been virtually non-existent. At the beginning of the campaign season, we were seeing them out there and performing, but I haven't seen a lot of that lately. So I think that it is vulnerable, but it's still my pick.
Miles Caden did perform in the Actors Awards, if I recall correctly, right?
Oh, I don't remember that.
I believe he did. Yeah, I can't remember if he actually did I Lied to You or if he did another song, but they had him up on stage performing anyway. So that, I guess, counts as a bit of publicity for that song. I think Golden is unbeatable, especially in the absence of any Wicked songs, because the Academy hates Wicked this year. Yeah. Rory, do you have any picks or preferences in this particular category?
I think you guys are, yes, you said it all.
Sean, picks or preferences?
Just a couple thoughts. I do not like the original songs from Sinners.
Talk
more about that later.
I like it.
My only exposure to Golden is through the drop on this podcast, and that's why it would be my preference.
Do you live in a cave? I feel like I can escape it. That tracks with the lighting.
I live alone and I have no kids, and I can curate my experience of the world quite carefully.
Hell yeah.
Random
right,
pick
sounds great.
Is Train Dreams, which I don't even remember that song, and I watched that movie probably 7 days ago.
It surely plays in the end credits, though. Since it's a Netflix movie, the end credits is probably just a trailer for Bridgerton, and nobody has heard the song.
I watched it on Craig's Plex server, so I got the whole.
All right, Golden definitely seems like the one to beat, unless there's a Viva Verdi surge. Best documentary shorts. I don't know any of the best documentary shorts, but I will name them for you because I'm a professional. All the Empty Rooms, Armed Only with a Camera, Children No More, The Devil is Busy, Perfectly a Strangeness. Oh, that last one's such a bad title.
That one's from the Criterion Channel now, I think.
Oh, okay. I'm sure it's lovely. From what I've seen, it looks like the odds-on favorite is All the Empty Rooms, so I will pick that for only that reason, because I do not know anything about any of these. Craig, do you have a pick?
Yeah, All the Empty Rooms. That's where the odds are. That's the pick. Next.
Yep.
Next.
Yeah.
Skip it.
Okay. Let's move on to documentary feature in that case. They make long ones now. The documentary features are The Alabama Solution, Come See Me in the Good Light, Cutting Through Rocks, Mr. Nobody Against Putin, and The Perfect Neighbor. Maybe worth pointing out that the same director, Geeta Gandbhir, has a nominee, The Perfect Neighbor, for Best Documentary Feature and also for Best Documentary Shorts. The Devil is Busy. Seems like cheating, but she has one nominated for each of these categories. Yeah, I mean, all of these documentaries could be called timely because I guess that's the nature of the game. But Cutting Through Rocks, it's worth pointing out, is about Iranian politics. That maybe has extra timely points. Maybe it's winning the timeliness race. I don't know. Craig, pick.
So I'm going with Mr. Nobody Against Putin, because on the poster it's got one of those things with the little flowery brackets around it saying it won an award. So.
Nice. Yeah, it's always a sign of quality in class when it has one of those little things. That's why I'm only drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon, because that's how you know. I think it won a Palme d'Or. I'm not too sure. I haven't looked too closely. Rory and Sean, do you guys have any picks or preferences for these documentaries? Have you seen any of these?
No, nothing. I saw none of them.
Okay. The only one I've seen is The Perfect Neighbor, which is all right. And that seems to be a front runner from what I've looked at. Mr. Nobody Against Putin. It seems like a movie that a lot of people have seen recently. So that's a strong pick. I'm going to go with The Perfect Neighbor. It's on Netflix. I think it's been widely seen. And it seems to have good odds. So that'll be my pick. Next, we're moving on to Best Sound. So this is a little interesting, I will say. The nominees are F1, Frankenstein, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Seurat. So F1 did take the CIS, the award, the Sound Guild Award, as I mentioned earlier, I think, but their pick does often diverge from Academy winners. It has the past 2 years. It was different. I honestly don't know which way this is going. Craig, who do you have picked for sound?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, you gotta love the sound of an engine revving. So
you just got to.
Cold
beer on a Friday night.
Feels like it could be going F1, but One Battle After Another has some like great sound as well. And Seurat is about a music festival, and so it's possible that it goes that way. I have still not had a chance to see Seurat, so I don't know how soundy it is. I don't know how loud it is. I think that this could go to One Battle After Another. That's
all right. Do you have any picks or preferences, Rory?
No, I mean, I think it's like Craig said, F1's kind of category to win. Same way with the editing. It just seems like their kind of niche. None of them really stood out as like, amazing sound to me. I bet you the sound for F1 is great, and I haven't seen it. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sean?
I didn't get a chance. Well, I made it about 20 minutes into Seurat. I was having subtitle trouble, and I got very frustrated. There are some very cool sound systems being set up in those first 20 minutes. I like that a lot. Preference-wise, I don't know. I mean, F1, again, car go fast, sound cool. One Battle, I think would be my preference pick. My random one is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 Sinners.
All right. And just for the record, if Sean's randomized picks beats either me or Craig's picks, we have to commit seppuku live on camera for our next podcast. So speaking of Seurat, I have seen Seurat. I like Seurat a lot, actually. I think it's really cool, and it is very soundy. And I think the way that they use the sound is very cool, and that would be my preference pick. Very, very fun, soundy movie. Of note, just because sound design is one of those like crafts category that is still extremely masculine. All 3 sound designers on Seurat are women, and if Seurat won, it would be the first time a woman has won for sound design. But I'm going to go with F1 as my pick. I could easily see it going to, again, either of the front runners, One Battle or Sinners, who are in play in so many categories. But yeah, like you guys said, Revving engines, a car chase movie is like the kind of thing they award sound to. So I'll stick with F1. Let's move on to Best Visual Effects now. The nominees for Best Visual Effects are Avatar, Fire and Ash, F1, Jurassic World, Rebirth, The Lost Bus, and Sinners. I guess with this category, like the first 2 Avatar movies won Best Visual Effects, presumably very easily. I think the only real question about this category is, are voters getting tired of voting for Avatar once again in the same category? If so, could Sinners' fresh pair of Jordans be enough to steal the win? Craig, what do you think?
You know, if this visual effects category doesn't start taking things a bit more seriously, I don't know. It can get demoted here as far as I'm concerned.
Wait, why are you so sternly disapproving of the visual effects category? Elaborate.
I don't know. It's just like this slate of nominees is relatively boring as far as
The Lost Bus was cool.
Okay, I didn't see The Lost Bus. I don't have Apple TV Plus or whatever it is you need.
Yeah,
exactly.
I
recommended it to you. I forgot those in another dimension. Sorry. But anyways, if you visit the dimension where Apple TV Plus movies exist, you will probably have a good time.
Yeah, visual effects. It feels like maybe Avatar. I don't know. I honestly don't care. I'm gonna pick something because I have to pick something. Let's go with Avatar. Fuck it.
All right.
Hell yeah.
I did not expect you, this category in particular, to be the one that you just give up on. But okay, whatever. I'm here for it. Rory, do you have a pick?
I've only seen Sinners, so I can't make an informed pick at all.
All right. Sean, any picks or preferences in this category at all?
I had no idea there was another Jurassic World movie.
Yeah,
Like,
see, that's what I'm talking about.
To me. I've seen only 2 of these, so my preference
It grossed a lot of money, guys.
Cool. Yeah, my preference is Sinners for twin magic. All
right,
that's fun.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that factor.
We'll do a random pick here, and this is going to correspond to The Lost Bus, which, as we've said, certainly exists.
So I'm picking Avatar. I think I once again, even if the Academy is not loving Avatar as much as they have the first 2 movies in terms of total nominations, it only has 2 nominations. It still feels like an easy win for special effects.
I think the one thing that could prevent Avatar, and I know I didn't care about this before, but people are feeling a certain type of way about technology right now because of AI. And so while this isn't AI, there could be maybe some of that stink on this movie. So I think that's one thing that's a little bit of a risk, but
computer bad.
Yeah.
I mean, you agree with James Cameron there, because James Cameron blamed not getting a Best Picture nomination on his movie being downwind from anti-AI sentiment.
No, I don't agree that's why he was missing Best Picture.
I'm just saying, your views seem to align pretty closely. All right, let's move on to the next one. We have Best Live Action Short. These movies are named Butcher's Stain, A Friend of Dorothy, Jane Austen's period drama, The Singers, Two People Exchanging Saliva. I, from what I've seen, because I don't know any of these movies, the odds seem to be favoring either the Saliva one or A Friend of Dorothy. I'll pick A Friend of Dorothy. Let's go with that. Craig, do you have a pick?
Friend of Dorothy as well. Yeah.
All right, perfect. Do either of you other guys have anything to say about Best Live Action Short?
Yeah, so when you said Jane Austen's period drama, in my head, I was like, oh, I wonder if that's about Jane Austen getting her period, which I thought would be too shithead of a joke to make. And I've just opened the Wikipedia article, and you'll never guess what.
What? No, seriously?
Yeah. Let me quote to you from the Wikipedia summary. In 1813 England, Miss Estrogenia Talbot receives a long-anticipated marriage proposal from her suitor, Mr. Dickley. During the proposal, however, she unexpectedly starts menstruating, and Mr. Dickley misinterprets the visible blood as a serious injury and carries her to her home before she can explain. That's the first sentence. So that's my pick for everything.
All right, there we go. That's your pick for Best Picture too, I assume. All right.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm glad to know that. That's a thing. Let's take a little break from the nominations, because this is the point in the ceremony last year where they did the In Memoriam segment. The In Memoriam segment, we, on Oscars Outsider, we like to play a little game that we call Who is going to be crowned King or Queen of the Dead? That means the last person featured in the In Memoriam segment, which is usually kind of the most important one. Who is the person who died this year, who is being placed on a pedestal by being positioned last in the montage. It's very competitive this year. A lot of important Hollywood figures have died. Craig, who's your pick for King or Queen of the Dead?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Harrison Ford. No. So I was teasing something at the beginning of this, and actually there has been a little bit of news about how this is going to be treated this ceremony.
I don't know. Do tell.
So Barbra Streisand is coming on to do a special tribute to Robert Redford, and apparently also Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal are reuniting on stage for Robert Reiner tribute. So it sounds like we might not get like a traditional In Memoriam in the same way that we're used to seeing it, just because like this is such a stacked year. But if we do, my pick would have been probably Diane Keaton or Rob Reiner. I don't know. It would be a toss up between those two.
Well, I think we should just say that if we know that Robert Redford and Rob Reiner are getting separate breakaway tributes, the way that Gene Hackman did last year, since we know that in advance, I think we should just eliminate them from the ballot. And we should be predicting who's going to appear at the end of the montage aside from them, because they are not part of this.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard anything about Diane Keaton, so that would be maybe my pick.
All right. Do you have a pick, Rory?
Yeah, I mean, it would have been Rob Reiner for sure. Would have been my pick, but I don't know. I guess probably Diane Keaton. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Sean, do you have any thoughts on this?
I would have guessed Redford, but until hearing that, I can't remember who else we lost this year.
I could give you a couple names. Val Kilmer was one.
That was this year?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Robert Duvall was not too long ago. That was pretty recently. Michelle Trachtenberg, not a huge star, but she was very young.
Yeah. I would say maybe Duvall would be my non-Reiner Redford pick.
Yeah, it's a good pick.
I would say if they weren't doing the breakaway segments, I would definitely go with Robert Redford. I just think you can't ignore the trifecta of being a very famous actor who is also a director who directed a Best Picture winner, who is also the founder of one of the most important film festivals. If we're discounting him as I proposed, I'm going to go with Diane Keaton. I think that she's the strongest contender remaining on the board behind Redford. Just that she's been just in so many classic movies that's just such a strong resume that you can't deny. I pick Keaton as Queen of the Dead. All right,
I hope they used the audio of the 98 or 99 Oscars we did with popular actor Val Kilmer on the red carpet.
Oh, that's right. Nice. Okay, let's move back into the land of the living. We have Best Cinematography Award up next. This is also one that I find very interesting. This could be a tight race. So the nominees for Best Cinematography are Frankenstein, Dan Laustsen, Marty Supreme, Darius Khondji, One Battle After Another, Michael Bauman, Sinners, Autumn Gerald Arcapau, and Train Dreams, Adolfo Veloso. So one thing that makes this category interesting to me is that contrary to the other categories, where Sinners, where Sinners has been surging lately after One Battle After Another was kind of dominating early, this category has kind of been the inverse. Sinners won a lot of critics' prizes for cinematography at the start of the year, and One Battle After Another has won the BAFTA and has won the ASC award, the Cinematography Guild Award just yesterday. So it actually seems like One Battle After Another is the one that's surging in this particular category for what the precursors are worth. I think Train Dreams is also an actual contender in here because it is such a cinematography heavy movie. Also worth noting that if Autumn Gerald Arcapau won for Sinners, and again, she has a very good shot, she would be the first ever woman to win in this category, because this again is like sound is one of those kind of pretty stubbornly masculine categories. No woman had even been nominated for Best Cinematography before 2018, and she has a serious shot at being the first woman to actually win it. Craig, what's your pick?
So my pick and my preference is for One Battle After Another. This is like the movie where I can just like conjure up in my mind so many shots very clearly, and so yeah, that's my pick. I like I like Train Dreams. That's like my controversial opinion of the year. It seems is that I liked Train Dreams. So I like the cinematography in it. You called it like what Netflix or Instagram Terrence Malick.
Yeah, I think I called it Timu Malick.
Yeah. I think that's accurate, but like I would be happy to receive that.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'll roll the dice. So,
all right. Sorry, who are you picking to win?
One battle after another is my pick of preference. Yeah.
Okay. Rory, who are you picking to win?
I agree with Craig. One battle after another is I think we'll take it and is probably my favorite. Although special shout out to Marty Supreme I think the cinematography with the editing and the production design all worked great together to make that sense of place you were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we just shouldn't sleep on how strong the crafts work is in Marty Supreme. Like everybody talks about like what a wacky movie it is. And it is, but it's like the crafts work is like very just solid Hollywood work. And Darius Kanji, who's another like, really good industry veteran, did awesome work with the cinematography on that. Sean, what do you have a pick and preference?
Yeah, my preference is One Battle as well. I do have Train Dreams as a close two. The Timu Malick is exactly a thing I like, so I thought that was fun. That's the thing I liked about that movie. But I think they all look really good. My random pick is also One Battle After Another.
All right. I'm gonna call it for Sinners. One Battle After Another has a very strong precursor package, but Sinners has won some critics awards too, and I think a lot of people really like the look of that movie, and the enthusiasm for it could pull it over the top. So I do think I'm going to predict that we are seeing Autumn Durrell-Arkapaw become the first woman to ever win in this category. In terms of preference, like I said, I'm such a fan of what Darius Kanji did with Marty Supreme. I might have to call that my preference, so it's hard to ignore. Also, One Battle After Another, how strong it was. If there was an award just for focus pulling, they would win it easily. Okay. We're getting to another good one here. Things are starting to heat up. The next one I have is Best International Feature. It was just an accident representing France, even though it is, Jafar Panahi's movie in Farsi. It is a French production. The Secret Agent representing Brazil. Sentimental Value representing Norway. Surat representing Spain. The Voice of Hind Rajab representing Tunisia. In theory, of course, since two of these movies, The Secret Agent and Sentimental Value, are up for Best Picture and other awards beside, it should come down to one of those two, though, of course, it is not impossible that one of the other three does manage to pull it off, even though we haven't really seen that situation play out before. It could possibly happen. I think it's maybe worth noting that It Was Just an Accident and Surat both failed to win Best Film at their respective countries' Oscars equivalents. It Was Just an Accident did not win the best award, best film at the French Film Awards, the Césars, and neither did Surat at Spain's Film Awards, for whatever that's worth, which is probably not very much. Sentimental Value won the European Film Awards. I also want to point out, just because I find this funny and I feel like it hasn't got enough attention in North America, there was a bit of a beef between Oliver Lachey, the director of Surat, and the nation of Brazil, after Lachey said in an interview, if the Brazilians submitted a shoe, it would get nominated for an Oscar.
He's still mad about the Treaty of Tordesillas.
I would have hit golden for that, Sean.
There you go.
There we go. He did clarify that he does like The Secret Agent. He was just referencing the fact that Brazilians are so hardcore when it comes to Oscar season that it seems like they get like extra attention paid to their candidates. And I hope that's not true, because it would be really pathetic if the Academy was just blatantly trying to appeal to Brazilians just because there's so many of them online. That would be such an annoying, stupid thing for them what to do. Nobody only listening is going to know why you're laughing. Craig, what's your pick for best international feature?
So I mean, the most nominated of these movies is Sentimental Value, but it does feel like it had all this steam going into award season, and then it's kind of like petered out a little bit. So I don't know. Like you said, it's between The Secret Agent and Sentimental Value, and I kind of feel like The Secret Agent might take it. I'm going to go.
It's a tough one. This is a tough nut to crack.
I'm going to go with Secret Agent. I like both of these movies a lot, actually. You mentioned that these are the only two that are like nominated in any of the other categories. It Was Just an Accident does have the Writers Award, and Surratt does have sound. Yeah. So there are like a couple other, but like in terms of like
I meant best
actual
picture,
like big
you're right.
players, they're Secret Agent and Sentimental Value. So let's go with Secret Agent.
All right, lock it in. Rory, do you have a pick?
Preference, they're very neck and neck for me. I think I liked Sentimental Value just a bit more, so let's go with Sentimental Value.
All right. How about you, Sean? Who are you calling to win, and do you have a preference?
Yeah, I think my preference, according to the way I've laid out this spreadsheet, it should be The Secret Agent, but spoiler alert for how highly I've ranked that elsewhere. It Was Just an Accident at the top of my list here. And just because this won't come up anywhere else, I do want to shout out, I really liked the voice of Hind Rajab quite a bit, but I will probably never watch that movie again. That was quite a harrowing watch.
I have not seen that movie yet, but everyone who I've seen talk about that movie says the exact same thing.
Yeah, there's a couple of formal things in there that like really drive it home for you. Recommend one viewing of Hind Rajab.
I still have not seen Hind Rajab. I'm looking forward to seeing it soon. I'm happy it got into the nominations. That was a bit of a surprise. I thought it would be No Other Choice, the Chan Wook Park movie that would take the fifth slot there. But happy to see it get in there. It probably doesn't have any hope. I should mention that there are some people in Hollywood who are, from what I've read, who are really pushing for Hind Rajab, like for the same reasons that No Other Land, the documentary about the West Bank, won last year. There is a theory that there are more pro-Palestinian voices in Hollywood than you would think, because a lot of people are afraid to voice pro-Palestinian sentiment, because there are a lot of studio heads and powerful producers who are Zionists, and it has been actually a campaign against Hind Rajab by an organization of prominent Hollywood Zionists who call themselves the Creative Community for Peace. But the Oscar voting is anonymous, so that is a place that anybody who does have pro-Palestinian sentiments but is afraid that it will impact their career to say that publicly has an opportunity to cast a vote, which might have impacted it getting into the nominations, but getting a win would be a bridge too far, surely. In terms of my pick for who's going to win, I find, this is a really tough one between the two ones who are in the Best Picture category. I'm going to call Sentimental Value as the winner, though I'm not super confident about that. I think in some of the anonymous ballots, for what they're worth, it's a very small random sample size. We still do see a lot of enthusiasm for that. It has more of the cozy movie quality that I think a lot of people in Hollywood are looking for in international films. So even though I'm not confident about this pick, I will pick Sentimental Value, though I will say that my personal preference is The Secret Agent, with the caveat that I have yet to see Hind Rajab. Let's move on. Our next category is going to be Best Original Score. So the nominees are Begonia, score by Jerskin Fendrix; Frankenstein, score by Alexandre Desplat; Hamnet, score by Max Richter; One Battle After Another, Johnny Greenwood; Sinners, Ludwig Göransson. One thing I find funny about this is how... So Chloe Zhao asked Max Richter to compose the music for Hamnet, based on the nature of daylight, the piece of music which plays during the big scene at the end, which has appeared in a lot of movies before. If you don't know what piece of music I'm talking about, we'll put it in here. Craig, hit the On the Nature of Daylight button on your soundboard. That's not it, Craig. I know you have an On the Nature of Daylight button on your soundboard, and you consistently refuse to hit it.
I thought you were going to drop the Rihanna one on him.
Yeah. Now, Craig generally loves the On the Nature of Daylight button. Whenever somebody on the show, whenever a guest says something like kind of beautifully tragic and both heartbreaking yet world affirming, that's when he delivers his classic line. Oh, that shit was elegiac as balls, and smashes the On the Nature of Daylight button on the soundboard. It's a huge hit with our audience. Anyways, so what I find funny about it is that Max Richter apparently composed a new piece of music for that scene. And then Chloe Zhao was like, oh no, I just wanted to literally use On the Nature of Daylight. I didn't want a new piece of music. Anyways, Craig, what's your pick for best original score?
I think Sinners, and then I really like the Begonia score. So that's, preference.
All right. Rory.
Yeah, I think Sinners will probably take it. I don't I saw Begonia a while ago. I don't remember the score. So that it feels unfair. I should have revisited what the score was. But I actually really liked the One Battle After Another score from Johnny Greenwood. I thought it was perfect for that movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah, keeps the tension high. Sean, what's your pick and what's your preference?
Preference is Begonia. I think we talked about that before. I really like that score quite a bit, especially with the bombast. I'm going to give a couple quick thoughts on each of these because I always love the score nominees.
Let's do it.
I really like Greenwood's One Battle After Another. Maybe it's my third or fourth favorite of his overall, but strong. The Sinners score, I love parts of it, and parts of it are a little soft for me. My favorite, well, not the parts I enjoy most, but the things that stand out to me the most about it are there's some very like Michael Mann-ish bluesy noodling in some very Michael Mann-ish looking masculine dialogue scenes, which I just find very like, they struck me as goofy. Frankenstein is replacement level Desplat, whatever, that's fine. And then Hamnet, I have ranked last specifically because I didn't know any of the stuff that you just said. I'm watching Hamnet and I'm thinking, this is a pretty nice score. It's working. It's pretty good. And then On the Nature of Daylight hit, and I was like, what the fuck? Like it's that song from all the movies.
Yeah.
It was basically as jarring as if they had used like Transatlanticism by Death Cab or something. Like it just really, I was like, oh, it took me out of it quite a bit. But then I read the story. Yeah,
I thought you had Death Cab for Cutie queued up, and I was going to be like, "Holy shit!"
When I did read about how it came up, then I thought that was extremely funny to get the new composition. Oh no, where we use this in rehearsals, we like it better, so we're just going to put that in there. Anyway, the randomized pick is Sinners, actually.
All right. I think your randomized pick is strong. I think Sinners, Ludwig Göransson's score is going to win. Göransson's won before, and I think it'll be no surprise to see him take the statuette on Hollywood's biggest night. I just want to say that I also do really like the score in Begonia. It has this kind of a classic Hollywood, like Bernard Herrmann quality to it, which is not what I would expect for that movie, but it really added a lot of texture to it. So I'm with you, Sean, that I thought that was a surprisingly strong part of the film, and that would maybe be my preference pick.
I have one more note on this. I'm sorry. Big snub for the Black Bag score. I liked that one quite a bit.
Okay, yeah, good call. That's cool. I wouldn't have minded. I'm a Seurat fan, and I wouldn't have minded seeing Seurat in here, even if like a techno isn't necessarily my vibe. It's like it's such a part of the texture of the film, and when a score is such a huge part of the film, I like seeing them get into the Oscars, but might be too much to ask. I'm happy that they got a sound design nomination anyways. That's something. Why don't we do something a little different here? We're getting close to the end. So we have a new award this year. That's very fun. It's been a long time since we've had a new category in the Oscars. Since it wasn't there last year, I had to insert it somewhere and randomly. So I decided to insert it here before we get to the 5 big ones of the night. Did I say 5? I mean 4. So the new category is Best Casting. For the first time, they're doing a Best Casting award. And it's gonna be hard to predict just because we don't really have a precedent for this, so we don't really know how they're going to judge the quality of the casting. But the nominees are some familiar titles: Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, and Sinners. Craig, pick.
Yeah, I mean, who knows how this is going to go? If we go by the whole like the crafts metric of like what has the most casting, it feels like it would go to Marty Supreme. If we go by momentum, it feels like it could be Sinners. One Battle After Another is not counted out either because it's got like a lot of casting as well, like a lot of big names with like really strong performances. So I feel like it's going to come down to those 3. I think that this might go towards Sinners. I'm mostly just basing that on the momentum right now. But honestly, I think all of these have like really great casting. So I don't really have a preference on this.
Okay. Rory, pick preference.
Yeah, so hard to know what they're qualifying it on, right?
Yeah.
Like I think like Sinners and Marty Supreme are kind of the flashy choices of like, well, and like you said, One Battle After Another as well, of like, look at all these guys. But preference for me was actually The Secret Agent. Like the casting in it just, everyone felt real and lived in. Like every little actor in that movie was like a part of the patchwork of that experience.
The Secret Agent that's a great call. It has a mix of professional and non-professional performers too, which I don't know if that's something they're going to take into consideration for this category, but I think that's really cool. And like you said, a huge part of why the movie works is that it feels like a complete world full of all these different characters. I think the casting is great. That would maybe be my personal preference. Sean, do you have a pick preference for best casting?
My preference is The Secret Agent. I just think there's like a wonderful variety of faces and bodies to see and voices to hear in that movie that really work for me. But I like the casting in all of them. I erred on the side of like the award for best group of guys (parentheses gender neutral). So Sinners is a close second, but I think any of them are good. Randomized pick is 6, so that will be Secret Agent.
All right. And Marty Supreme is just such a chaotic cast. It's a chaotic cast in terms of like all the random people in there, but it's also like the casting is so one for one in terms of like just picking somebody who is the person they're going to be playing. You need somebody who used to be a huge movie star 25 years ago. Gwyneth Paltrow is literally that. You need somebody who's a rich asshole. Just Kevin Leary is literally that. You need somebody who's a complete crazy person. Abel Ferreira, he's that. Even Timothée Chalamet is kind of playing a version of himself. The Auschwitz survivor, that's Geza Rohrig, who was in Son of Saul, play the only like big movie he has where he plays an Auschwitz survivor. It's kind of almost comically one for one, but at the same time it's full of like random stuff. In addition to all those guys, there's Tyler the Creator and Fran Drescher. Is that the kind of thing that the Oscars would actually go for? I don't know. It's fun. It's weird. I think they pick Sinners. I think that's just, this is one of those places where all the Sinners fans in Hollywood will find a spot to plant their flag, because it does have such a cast of a lot of familiar faces, plus some newcomers, some people that we're less familiar with. Miles Caton is as a total newcomer to the screens, and I think that counts for something. I assume when in the calculus of this award, it's not just which famous actor have you plugged into this role, but like which actor have you discovered because he's perfect for that role. So I feel like Sinners is where they go for this one. That's my prediction. All right, we're getting close to the big ones here. So last year they went with Best Actor first. I hope they don't go with Best Actor first this year, because that's where all the drama is this year. We talked about it at the start of the show a little bit, but I think really it is a question of has Timothée Chalamet really maintained enough momentum to get enough votes to win, or has the Michael B. Jordan surge overtaken him, or is one of these other guys, Leo DiCaprio, Ethan Hawke, or Wagner Moura, going to be a spoiler here? This is a tough one. Me and you, Craig, we've talked about this before, about the perception of Chalamet and his campaign, and I just want to say I already see the narrative crystallizing that Chalamet sabotaged himself by having a campaign that was too cocky and too zany, and I feel like if he loses, that's probably going to be the narrative that wins. I want to kind of preemptively push back against that a little bit, just by pointing out that he was at his most cocky and zany during the original press cycle right before the Critics' Choice Awards and the Golden Globe Awards, which he won, and then he kind of took the foot off the gas a little bit and got more humble, and has since lost the BAFTA and the Actor Award. Those are two different things. There's industry awards and critics awards. So that's not necessarily a correlation, but I mean, he was being pretty cocky and zany when he won the SAG award last year. I don't think there's a clear correlation you can map between him getting too cocky and zany and people losing patience with him. And but we'll see. The narrative will crystallize depending on whether he wins or not. Craig, do you think that Chalamet can pull it off, or do you see this going another way?
I think he's going to miss. I feel like it's a combination of a lot of things, but mainly it's frontrunner fatigue and losing steam. Where it goes from here, I don't know. I think that there is a strong case to be made for Michael B. Jordan. But in one of the anonymous ballots that I read, someone said that Ethan Hawke has spoiler energy, and I said, fuck yeah, let's go. I'm going to pick Ethan Hawke here because that would be fucking fun. That would be a fun way for this race to end. I would like to see it. So I think that it is not just a fun pick. I think it's a distinct possibility. Just being someone that is in the industry for a long time has not really gotten his flowers, and it's a big performance. It's a performance that is impossible to ignore in this and
because it's the entire movie.
Exactly. Yeah. He carries it on his back, and also it's big outside of that fact. If it existed and there was a lot of other big performances, I think it still would stand out. I think Michael B. Jordan has the fact that he's playing two twins that have this really subtle dynamic. I think that is a really good thing that people can sink their teeth into. But the Sinners surge, it feels like it's maybe a little late, and I wonder if there's a bit of a split between Timmy and Michael B. Jordan, and Ethan Hawke comes up the middle. So that's kind of my pick here. Wagner Moura, I think it maybe has my preference pick. I thought that he had a great performance, and it really resonates, and there's a lot of subtlety to it, and I like it a lot. But I like all these performances, every single one, even Leo, who we thought this was going to be Leo versus Timmy, and it has turned out not to be that. It's not because Leo's performance is bad that he's fallen off. It's just he's been nowhere. He's been off filming Marty's new movie. So, I like all these performances. I think my preference might be towards Wagner Moura.
Yeah. To what you said about Michael B. Jordan, definitely when I see all the people online and in some of those anonymous ballots, pumping up Michael B. Jordan's performance. They are all like, he plays two characters. And for me, that's like the least interesting part about his performance. I do like Michael B. Jordan. I think he's a real movie star. I think he has good screen presence and a lot of great, camera awareness. He knows how to use his space. I think we really saw that in Creed 3, which he directed, and the way he made use of that space. So I think he's he is a real movie star, and I like his performance. But I mean, Wagner Moura played two characters too, by the way. Spoiler alert, kind of, but he played two characters as well. And kind of, who cares? Like, if the award is for who played the most characters, just give it to Robert Pattinson right now. Robert Pattinson played Mickey's 1 through 17. But I don't think it's like a Jeremy Irons and Dead Ringers caliber of twin performance. For the historical record, it would be the second time an actor has won Best Actor for playing double roles in the movie. Lee Marvin did it in Cat Ballou. But the fact that that's the thing that I keep seeing people insist on kind of makes me roll my eyes a little bit, I'll say. Rory, who is your pick for who you think will win the Best Actor?
I think Michael B. Jordan will win for the reasons you guys just said. He's two guys in this movie. And it's like, yep, he sure is two guys in this movie. I thought he was good in the movie, but I don't care that much that he was two guys. Yeah. And then, whereas Wagner Moura at the end, I actually kind of had to do a double take. It was like, is that him? I was like, it didn't register that it was at first. And spoilers for the end of Secret Agent, but it took me a minute to realize that it was actually him. Mm-hmm. I liked Timothée Chalamet. I think that's probably my pick for my preference would be Timothée Chalamet for Marty Supreme. It relied so much on his, we already talked about all the craft work of the movie, so I'm kind of contradicting myself, but I feel like the enjoyment of that movie relied so much on enjoying his performance.
Yeah, both can be true.
And not like, I disliked his character a lot and still really enjoyed him doing it.
Yeah, true. Mm-hmm.
I think the fact that there's been so many people debating about like whether like Marty Mauser is kind of a good guy or whether he's a complete asshole, and the fact that is a big debate speaks to the strength of the character and the performance, and that is an example of Josh Safdie doing that kind of 1-for-1 casting and being like, you're going to play a version of yourself, and I think it working really, really well. I do think that the way that Marty Supreme bridges the idea of kind of like the origins of American hyper-capitalism, let's say after the Second World War, to like the current like hype beast hustle grindset world is embodied in Chalamet himself and in his performance. I know I'm coming off as like a huge Chalamet stan in this episode, but I'm okay with it. I think the performance is really good. And I would be happy to see him win it for sure. And man, there's been so much discussion about this, even in our like our last podcast generated a lot of discussion, which I really appreciate everybody who commented on the last one. But it's all about Timmy and whether and I would say maybe a third of it is people saying hell yeah, the Shala God is on his way to victory, and maybe 2/3 of it is I can't stand that disgusting little man and I hope he burns. But also a lot of good points were made. A lot of really good points were made that made me really consider it. That the argument for Chalamet winning is that he has like all the important precursors basically, except for the Screen Actors Guild Award and the BAFTA, but the BAFTA went to a British person, so I feel like we can discount that, though we don't know who came in second place. But if we assume that Chalamet came in second place, we can kind of say that, his trajectory to winning on the Oscars is the same as Adrian Brody's last year, where everybody was like rolled their eyes and were like, of course he won. Adrian Brody won all the precursors except for the Actors Award, which went to Timothée Chalamet, but it felt inevitable. If we assume that Chalamet was second place at the BAFTAs and kind of consider that as though he won, which of course isn't the same thing. But one of the comments I just wanted to come out that made a good point was that somebody said that, because I was saying in the previous episode that what shook my faith in Chalamet's ability to win was that loss, because I thought if he had any award in the bag, it was the SAG Award, the one he got last year, from like a younger voting public. And somebody in the comments was pointing out, well, the fact that he won last year probably works against him. They don't want to give it to the same person 2 years in a row. The SAG Awards have never done that. And that's true. They have never done that. Though I would also point out that the SAG Awards only go back to 1995, and the Oscars have also never done that in the same period. But they do have less of a history of awarding actors multiple times than the Oscars do. Might be random chance, but the idea that that is something that worked against him rather than worked for him, the fact that he won last year, is sort of a reassuring idea for anybody who wants him to win. And
so I want to just like tack on to that. I'm interested in whether or not that includes TV categories, because it feels like TV would be a sector where you would see that more frequently.
Yeah, I'm just talking about movies.
I'm interested, like, in terms of the appetite of that voting body for awarding back to back, if there is precedent for that within TV.
Well, I'm sure there is, but
let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
There's no other way we'll know.
Yeah. But yeah, then again, at the same time, as much as I've been trying to debunk the idea that Chalamet's campaign has worked against him, there is evidence in the anonymous ballots we've seen that people are saying like, oh, I'm just tired of this guy. He is being harmed, I think, by the long Oscar cycle. March 15th is way too late, by the way. They gotta start doing these things in February again. I know they moved it because of the Olympics, but it's happening 3 weeks after the Olympics ended. That's not an excuse. They got to bring this back to February. If he loses, I think the biggest reason that I would theorize is just that the cycle was too long, that people got tired of seeing him on their screens and in their feeds, and that's how it works. It generates automatic backlash, especially to somebody who's voluble and antic and says a lot of stuff.
But winners, they have to finish. You know, it's not over until the fat lady sings, as they say in the opera. You do got to dream big, as a famous person once said. Sean, we didn't do your pick, did we? Did we do your pick?
No, it's not.
Sorry, I was off on one, and I didn't even let you do your pick. Go for it.
I've got Wagner Moura as my preference as well. I really like that performance quite a bit. Although I do like the whole slate. Ethan Hawke is my close second. I don't know if the data bears this out, but I just have this sense that often the Academy likes an elder statesman as opposed to an upstart. So maybe
the data does bear that out.
Okay. That could be good for Hawke there. But the gods of chance say that it will be Leo, which I don't think is the case, but we're marking it down.
You know what? He's in the run. So he's still in the running. He is not, as much as his fortunes may have felt like they've faded since the start of the season because he hasn't really won anything. I think he's still in the running, and
it's anyone's game, I feel like.
An MBJ Timmy split could give him a path forward. We've seen him topping some anonymous ballots, again, for what it's worth. But all of these performances are absolutely in the running, and there is that bias towards elder statesmen. We've seen some that were a bit surprising, like Chadwick Boseman losing to Anthony Hopkins, which was a lot of people saw it for that reason, that the Oscars like the older candidate who's proven it before. Brendan Fraser beating Austin Butler. These are just in the last few years. Adrian Brody beating Timothée Chalamet last year kind of falls under the same heading. So for a lot, and we've talked about this a lot on the show, for the older voters, do they think that Chalamet has earned it enough yet at this point, despite being only 30 years old, and he would be the second youngest person to ever win it if he could get it. I think despite being like, I think 9 years younger than Michael B. Jordan, he does have more of like an Oscar-friendly track record in terms of having been in prominent films. I like Michael B. Jordan. I think I think he's a movie star, and I think he will continue to prove it more and more. I hope so. I know he's directing a new movie now, I believe, and I look forward to see what he does as a director outside of a franchise. But like, a lot of people clowned on Chalamet a while ago, and Craig, you mentioned this in an early episode, because the American Cinematheque in LA held a retrospective of his career, and people were like, "What the? He just started yesterday. What do you mean a retrospective of his career?" But the retrospective of his career did have movies by Denis Villeneuve, Christopher Nolan, Luca Guadagnino, Greta Gerwig, Josh Safdie. Less well reported on was that Michael B. Jordan also had a career retrospective, also at the American Cinematheque, also last year. And his career retrospect was like a Ryan Coogler movie, another Ryan Coogler movie, another Ryan Coogler movie. So I think part of the reason why I feel like Jordan has to still prove it more than Chalamet does, despite being a bit older, is that all of Jordan's career hits are with the same director. But none of that has any bearing on the actual performance themselves. I'm going to pick Timothée Chalamet to win. I think he still has I'm banking on the fact that he still has enough momentum to pull it off. So I'm calling Chalamet to still win. Though if I'm going for preference, I think I'm also going to echo the sentiment that Wagner Moura is my personal preference. That's a very effortlessly realist, charming, and also principled performance that really, really, really impressed me a lot. All right. I'm going to shut up about Chalamet now. I promise. It's what the people want to hear. Let's move on to Best Actress, one which should probably take a lot less debate. The Best Actress nominees are Jessie Buckley, Rose Byrne, Kate Hudson, Renata Rinsfeld, and Emma Stone. And Jessie Buckley is going to win it. Craig, do you agree?
Yes, I agree. Obviously, that is the way this is going to go. It would be shocking if it went any other way. My preference is Emma Stone, actually. I liked her performance a ton. And I would love to see her pull off an upset, but she seems like the least likely. If anyone has a shot, it's Rose Byrne.
All right. Yeah, that'd be cool. Rory, who do you think wins? Do you have preference?
I think Jessie Buckley wins. I haven't seen two of them. I haven't seen the If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You or Song Sung Blue. So it feels hard to give a preference, really. But I liked Jessie Buckley in Hamnet. So I think of the three, that would be my preference. They were all quite good. I don't know.
Sean, who do you think wins, and do you have a preference?
Well, my preference is Rose Byrne. I really like that performance a lot. I also really like the Renata Rinsfeld one, but Rose edges her out. I didn't see Song Sung Blue, so I can't really weigh that. I do have in my snubs, I would have liked to see Jennifer Lawrence get a nomination for Die My Love, which I liked quite a bit.
I second that. Yeah.
I felt bad about bumping Kate Hudson because I haven't seen the performance, so I actually took Emma Stone out of my fantasy noms to put Lawrence in. But yeah, Rose Byrne is my preference. And we will go to the deck of cards, and it does say Jessie Buckley. So
all right.
Okay.
That one I'm confident on. Yeah.
Another shout out to our girl, Amanda Seyfried, who I was really hoping would secure a nomination for Testament of Anne Lee.
I didn't see that yet. I've been meaning to.
I'll say this. If, we talked about the first Oscars a while ago, and one of the wrinkles in the first Oscars was that you could win an award for multiple movies that came out in the same period. If you could still do that now, I would absolutely love to see Amanda Seyfried win for both The Testament of Anne Lee and The Housemaid, because those are two amazing performances in two very different movies. A very vulnerable, passionate, and singing performance in Anne Lee, and a totally over the top melodrama performance in The Housemaid, both of which blew my mind. And those combined, which are playing at the same time, was like, I was not familiar with your game, Amanda. I never even thought of her that much before that. But those are both amazing performances for two different reasons in two different ways. But she's got some juice.
Can I do one more snub take?
Swim Fan Nation, let's go.
This is actually for Best Actor. Even though it was so stacked, I did just want to point out that Josh O'Connor in The Mastermind was a performance that I thought did not get as much love as it should have.
I still haven't seen The Mastermind, but
I like it. I'm I try sucker for Kelly Reichardt movies, but I like The Mastermind a lot.
Nice. I already said I think Jesse wins. Obviously, I have not also seen Song Sung Blue, and I'm confident I never will. But in terms of personal preference, I did really like Rose Byrne's kind of Gina Rowlands-esque performance, and If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. I think it's really impressive. I would probably go with Emma Stone for my personal preference, just because I feel like that's the best I've ever seen her. Honestly, in Begonia, I just thought that so much depended on that two-hander power struggle between her and Jesse Plemons, and I thought she just really delivered.
Yeah. She's going to be in that space that Lawrence was in a few years ago, though, right? Like fatigue from being there every year.
She probably already is, honestly, in that space. Especially if she keeps doing a Lanthimos movie every year, people are going to be like, oh, another one of these. Come on, Emma, do something else. Do we think that Jessie Buckley is lucky that The Bride came out a little too late for it to Norbit her chances?
It seems that way. I haven't seen The Bride yet. Based on the reviews, I think it's
I haven't seen it yet either. But
it's funny because in all of the like Oscar subreddits that I'm in, this has been kind of like looming over her head, and people talking about like when this drops, is it going to Norbit her like Eddie Murphy?
I love that that's just a verb now. Yeah, but I mean, it came out like the day that voting closed. So, like Chalamet with Ballet Opera, like it came out just too late for it to affect anything.
She's got 9 lives.
Like her furry friends. One more quick note I'm going to make while we're on this category is that because people who are new to Oscars Outsider might not realize this, but this is a kind of a spin-off of a show that me and Craig do about reality TV called Bravo Outsider. So since this is in our wheelhouse, there was an interesting article on the New York Times by Kyle Buchanan this week where he pointed out that 3 of the nominees in Best Actress and Supporting Actress kind of got their start in reality TV. That's like Ariana DeBose and Jennifer Hudson before them. It is starting to look like that. Doing reality TV could be a viable early stepping stone to Hollywood fame, even though it's often seen as kind of a disreputable cul-de-sac. And yes, the 3 performers are Emma Stone and Jessie Buckley. As well as Tiana Taylor. Emma Stone did a forgotten VH1 show called In Search of the Partridge Family, which the purpose was to cast a reboot of the Partridge Family, and she won. And they shot a pilot, and apparently it was so bad that they canned it. And Jessie Buckley did a British TV show called I'd Do Anything, which sounds like a really weird thing, a really weird British thing, where a panel of judges headed by Andrew Lloyd Webber were trying to to cast the new female lead in a reboot of Oliver! And she finished in second in that. And Tiana Taylor, it's reaching a bit to say that this kickstarted her career because she was kind of a teenage prodigy in the New York hip hop scene. By age 15, she had already choreographed a Beyonce video and had been signed to Pharrell's record label. But she also had a memorable episode of My Super Sweet 16. Little side note there.
Nice.
Yeah, just for the reality TV fans out there. Let's move on to our last 2 categories. We have Best Directing. The nominees for Best Directing are Chloe Zhao, Josh Safdie, Paul Thomas Anderson, Joachim Trier, and Ryan Coogler. Craig, who do you think wins this?
Paul Thomas Anderson. This is like probably the second most easy category to call as far as I'm concerned. This is Paul Thomas Anderson to lose, and honestly, my preference as well.
You know, you're saying this is this is an easy pick, but since the Sinners surge really took off after the Actors Awards, some sources, including Variety, are now calling for Ryan Coogler as their pick to win.
Interesting.
I think there's a strong push for Coogler, and I think he's a very strong candidate. I think you might be underestimating the potential of a Coogler win here.
Has Coogler won Best Director before? No,
he hasn't. Not at the Oscars. No.
Yeah.
Rory, who do you think wins? Do you have a preference?
I think both preference and pick is probably Paul Thomas Anderson. I did really appreciate Chloe Zhao's direction of Hamnet, though. Like I didn't enjoy the movie as much as One Battle After Another, but I liked what she did with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, she directed me to the exit. That was bad. That was really bad. Hey, Sean, how about you?
I do want to echo. I like kind of the visual sense of Hamnet, like the sort of austere lockdown tripod shots that pan across the room, or lots of triangles. But my preference, I think, is Anderson as well. He doesn't have an Oscar, does he?
No.
Really?
That's a storyline. He's never won an Oscar. He's had lots of nominations for writing, directing, and his movies, but he's never won anything.
Wow.
So he's kind of getting to 2006 Marty territory. Not quite, but
no, but he's getting there. Yeah.
Yeah. So he would be my preference. I think they're all pretty good candidates. My deck of cards says Josh Safdie.
Okay. That'd be fun. All right. I'm going to go with Paul Thomas Anderson as my pick to win. Though, like I said, I'm not as confident in this as I think you are, Craig. I think we could very well see Coogler on that stage at the end of the night and crushing beers with Kash Patel backstage afterwards. That's Sean's joke, by the way, but it's now property of Oscars Outsider LLC. Read your contract. I'd give him my preference pick too. I think that's my favorite in terms of directing. However you want to quantify that, which leads us down to the big one. The only thing left is Best Picture. Who is winning Best Picture at the 2026 Academy Awards for the films of 2025 on Hollywood's biggest night, as some people call it? I think this really comes down to the question: how real is the Sinners surge? Is this something that people who comment on the awards race have talked themselves into because they got bored of One Battle After Another? Or is it a real thing after that big night they had at the Actors Awards? Has that really swayed the race? Was it really a bellwether of things that would change? I think it's worth pointing out as a bit of context that it would be with very little precedence if Sinners could pull off Best Picture with as few precursor award wins as it has. Some people have pointed to movies like Spotlight and Parasite and Coda as films that had very few precursor wins, but got the Best Ensemble Cast win at the SAG Awards. And that kind of ended up being the momentum boost that pushed them to a surprise Best Picture wins. Though all of those movies I just named, Spotlight, Parasite, and Coda, did have another major guild or precursor win, which Sinners is lacking. If you want to find the last Best Picture winner that did it without Critics' Choice Awards, without Golden Globe Awards for Best Picture, without Directors Guild, without Producers Guild, you have to go all the way back to Crash 20 years ago. So it every year is a different year, and precedent doesn't necessarily mean all that much, especially with some of the special circumstances this year that we've already discussed this show. But that's the central question, I think. How real is the Sinners surge? Craig, I've asked you this question before, but now you've got to plant your flag for the final time. Who is winning Best Picture?
I think it's Sinners. I think Sinners is going to win it.
Okay.
I think the push is real. I think it's happening at the right time. The momentum is everything, I think, and Sinners has it right now. I think it's going to win.
Okay. Rory, who do you think wins Best Picture?
Yeah, I tend to agree with Craig. Going into this, I'm going on gut, and gut says Sinners.
Okay. You could argue that if Sinners wins, it would be the first horror movie to ever win Best Picture. Yeah. Some people say Silence of the Lambs, but Silence of the Lambs, it's like, is it a thriller? Is it? You could also make the distinction that some people do between horror and terror. Terror being scary movies about real things that could actually happen, like Silence of the Lambs. Sinners being a movie with vampires falls squarely in the category of horror, so that would make it a bit of a special thing. Sean, who do you think wins Best Picture?
This is not preference, but prediction pick?
Prediction, yeah.
Okay, so this will be the deck of cards, which is number 9. Oh, Frankenstein is unfortunately my pick.
And how about preference? Well, you know what? You don't have to tell me your preference because we're going to rank them in a second.
Yeah, so I've got hold on to rankings of 10.
We're going to rank them in just a second. I'm going to say that I'm glad that this got really competitive, right? Because for a while, me and Craig have been doing these shows for a while. For a while, it felt like One Battle After Another was steamrolling. I do think kind of lost in the big Actors Award night that Sinners had for some people was the fact that the very night before was the Producers Guild Award. The Producers Guild is not only a very predictive precursor, but significantly, it's the only other like Best Picture award of the season that uses a ranked ballot the way that the Oscars now use a ranked ballot for Best Picture, something they've done since they expanded the Best Picture category to include more nominees in 2010. And you always have to kind of try to think about how that might go down. One Battle After Another won at the Producers Guild Award. I think that's a very significant data point. I don't want to get too carried away, as some people do, in just talking about the data points of precursors, because, like I said, every year is a separate thing, and vibes matter because that's a lot of the voters are going on vibes too. You have to game out situations like with the ranked ballot. The way it works is that like the nominee that has the most last place votes will get eliminated, and anybody who has that as their first place vote, their number 2 now becomes their number 1, and you will continue as needed until there's a 50% plus 1 winner. So it's like a lot of it comes down to like who were the F1 voters number 2, because there are F1 voters. It became. They exist. It became a Best Picture nominee for a reason.
Much like the movie, they certainly exist.
There are a lot of Academy voters that are people who work in crafts or who work in visual effects. There are a lot of dudes who are more on the technical side of cinema. There's a Guardian article where they refer to them as the steak eaters, and these are guys who often prefer things like action movies. And I think some of these steak eating voters are going to vote for F1 as their number 1, and then it becomes who is their number 2. You have to game out these scenarios, and that's really hard to do. But long story short, the PGA Producers Guild Award is the only other situation where you have seen that kind of thing happen, and it did go in One Battle After Another's favorite. One single data point should not be too overstated, but I think that reassures me that what I've been saying all along, that One Battle After Another wins Best Picture, is still happening. I think it's still on. My faith has been shaken somewhat, but I'm absolutely calling for One Battle After Another to win. That is my prediction. Okay, so I think now before we wrap up, we should each rank the Best Picture nominees in order of preference. I think Rory and Sean, you guys are maybe missing a couple of movies, or
I've seen all of the Best Picture nominations. So
I'm missing 2.
Oh, well, that's great. All right. You guys have done your homework probably better than the majority of Oscars voters.
I was very proud of myself this year. Song Sung Blue and Surat, I think, were the only big misses on my sheet. Normally, there's like at least a half dozen I haven't seen.
Nice. Craig, why don't we start with you? How about you rank the Best Picture nominees in order of preference from 1 through 10? Start from either the bottom or the top, whatever you prefer.
Okay, I'm going to start from the bottom. I did not prepare this, so this is going to be the easiest way for me to Let's start eliminating the ones that I don't like. So I think the one that I liked the least was actually Frankenstein. I did not like that movie very much. You can go back and find our review of it. I talked about a lot of my problems with it. So that is going to be my number 10. Next is going to be Hamnet. Again, a movie that I thought was emotionally manipulative. I just did not enjoy the writing in it. I thought was really bad. And we watched actually Shakespeare in Love and talked about that Oscars at the same time, and I was reminded how much better of a movie Shakespeare in Love is than Hamnet. So maybe it was an unfair point of comparison because I think Shakespeare in Love is a much better movie. I'm not a huge Shakespeare in Love fan, although I sound like it right now. I'm truly not. I just
big Weinstein guy.
I just thought that it was a better movie. And then it starts getting a little bit harder. I would probably have to eliminate F1 next. This is a movie that I mentioned that I enjoyed quite a bit. But I think that it is probably the most thin of the movies that are left kind of on the table. Just like really standard but well executed movie. From there, I mentioned that I like Train Dreams a lot, but I'm probably going to have to leave it in the bottom 5 of this roster. I had huge problems with the end of this movie. I liked the entire thing leading up to maybe the last 5 minutes, which I think completely sold out my reading of it. That could just be that I had a completely wrong read of this movie, but I thought it was this like anti-tech film, and then it ends up undermining that whole thesis at the end, saying, oh, progress actually made him feel closer and connected. What do you know? He's like lifting off. So yeah, I think that undermined the entire film, which I liked the whole thing leading up until that last 5 minutes. So now we're in top 5 territory. So it's going to be pretty hard to cut these. I think number 5 is going to be Sentimental Value. I like this movie a lot. It's hard to cut, but I think the others just had pieces that I thought overall were a lot stronger. Then it's going to be Marty Supreme is going to be number 4. I did like this movie. I think that it was just a little too familiar. It just felt like the rest of Safdie's films. It just, I don't know. It felt like it was missing something. But again, a great movie. I'm miscounting right now, aren't I?
You might be.
Yeah, I think you might be a place ahead.
Let me see here.
Frankenstein, Hamnet, F1, Train Dreams, F1.
Okay, whatever. I've got them. This is the order. Who cares? Who
cares about numbers?
So then I will go with number 4 is going to be. Oh, this is so hard. I really like these last 4 movies. The Secret Agent, I think, is going to be my number 4 pick. And then let's go Begonia, Sinners, one battle after another in that order.
All right. I dig it. I should mention too, because you referenced a couple of times, Craig, for anybody who's just listening to or watching to this episode in isolation, we did, me and Craig, and sometimes Sean, discussed each one of the Best Picture nominees in isolation in different episodes. So if you want more complete thoughts from us about these movies, you can find that in past episodes, and there's a lot of stuff in past episodes that we've glazed over because we've already talked about it. So if you're like screaming right now, "Oh, why are you rambling on about Timothée Chalamet but not discussing the fact that there's clearly a smear campaign against Marty Supreme?" we covered that, and these guys are sick of hearing me go on about Timmy, so I'm not going to cover it again. So we've got Craig's list. Sean, you've got all 10 seen. Why don't you rank the top 10 in your order of preference? Do you want to start from the top or start from the bottom? What's your preference?
I'm going to go 10 to 1 for sure.
Let's do it.
Couple of overarching thoughts. I promise I'll be quick.
Take your time.
There's some nice through lines, I think, through the nominations here of parenthood, of like storytelling or movie making more specifically, and of a guy who sucks. And with that in mind, I do have 4 snubs that I feel I would put into my nominees. So just know that positions 7 through 10 could be taken out for these snubs, which are Die My Love by Lynn Ramsey. Lynn Ramsey heads get to eat so infrequently, so I love that one came out this year. The Mastermind with Kelly Reichardt. We get to eat more frequently, and it's always a good meal. That movie I liked a lot. Jay Kelly, a movie that certainly exists. I know this because of your Substack, Dylan. Like, that's the only reason I know about this movie.
I have no idea why everybody just slept on Jay Kelly, which feels like it's very familiar and like accessible, but maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's too familiar and accessible. I don't know.
We gotta get.
So if you look at if you go to OscarsOutsiders.com, you can see our picks for fantasy back when we did them in early December.
Okay.
Completely different world. Jay Kelly is something that I'm holding right now in my
I mean, it got some Golden Globe nominations at the start of the season, but nobody's even said those 2 words together. And you're the first person to say Jay Kelly in a month, Sean.
Yeah, well, I think we got to get Baumbach
in memoriam for the.
We need to get Noah out of the Netflix thing. I don't think it's
working for him. They're not promoting his movies.
Yeah. And then I know I've delighted you, Dylan, with Jay Kelly. Now I'm going to break your heart. My 4th snub is Eddington, a movie that I think we disagree quite a bit on, and I liked. But that being said,
I like it though. I respect that.
We'll go into my actual rankings. Nothing makes me feel more like I don't know anything about film than when I sit down to try to rank things. But eventually we filled this up, and I have a bunch of emotional reactions. Number 10 is F1. Seems like a commercial for F1 racing. And anything that wasn't a car going fast, I think you can just dump in the garbage. It wasn't for me. Number 9 is Frankenstein. Not much for me there, really. I really don't like the Mia Goth performance. I think that really took it down for me.
Oh, speaking of playing 2 guys. She played 2 guys in that movie.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe that'll move her up a notch. Number 8, I have Train Dreams. This one is very much because I'm familiar with the Dennis Johnson source material. And like when you adapt a novel or a novella, do whatever you want. I don't care. I think The Shining is an amazing adaptation. But I just think that there was a softening of the source material that made me feel like it was a much weaker story in this movie than in the Johnson. It does look really cool. And like I said, I'm a sucker for the Malick thing, or Lynn Ramsey, I think, is a very similar thing for that. But yeah, if I didn't know the material, I probably would have really liked the movie a lot more. Number 7, I've got Hamnet, which I liked more than I thought I would. Whereas Train Dreams is I felt fluffy. Hamnet is the inverse of just like a parade of the fluff equivalent of grief, like a feel bad movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, who among us has not fallen head over heels for a witchy girl in the woods once or twice in our life? Pretty relatable. Number 6 is Sinners, which I think I did a disservice to myself by watching this in February of this year. So there was so much expectation, I think, in hearing stuff about it. And then when I watched it, I was like, oh, that was cool. But I don't know. I don't really go for most vampire things. A lot of it left me a little flat, maybe because of expectation. There's a lot to like in it. I think I've only seen like 3 of Coogler's movies, but this was good. There's a lot to chew on, but I had an inflated sense of it. Number 5 is Begonia, which I knew nothing about and just really, really enjoyed. 4, Marty Supreme. I think there's something interesting about Josh Safdie making a movie about a guy who's like really good at his chosen art, but doesn't quite reach the heights he maybe expected at first. Number 3, Sentimental Value, which was super unexpected. I had no idea anything about Trier going in. This was my first. I've since watched a couple more. I like it. I love a talky drama, so that worked really well for me. Number 2, One Battle After Another. We've said a lot about it. It's really good. And then I have Secret Agent number 1. We talked about that one before. I really liked that movie. It surprised the hell out of me, and I loved it.
Nice. All right. Good list. Rory, so first of all, what are the 2 movies that you haven't seen?
Oh, well, I haven't seen F1. I ran out of time to see F1 and Train Dreams. I did not see Train Dreams either. I will say special award to Train Dreams for the best worst title for a movie. Like there's nothing less it just did not grab me as a title. So those 2 are not in the ranking.
All right. So give me 8 through 1 then.
8 through 1. I just piggybacking on what Sean was talking about, the kind of overarching themes. I definitely noticed the like art as like savior is a running theme in a lot of these for sure. Which seems very like Oscar-y, where it's like the only way we can process our trauma is through our art, and the voters are like, absolutely, that's what we do.
I said this when he talked about sentimental values, but I still find it kind of hilarious that Joachim Trier's conclusion is kind of like, oh, you thought this guy sucked because he was neglecting his family to make movies? Well, turns out he was processing his emotions in the right way the whole
time. He's so fucked up. He knew how she was going to kill herself.
And then the other kind of like through line is just this paranoia. There's like this paranoia in so many of these movies, which I think is maybe
more, I wonder why.
Yeah, exactly. More a reflection of the times than anything. So 8 for me is Frankenstein. I'm with everybody else. It didn't do it for me. I will say for all of these movies, though, there wasn't like a standout, like I hated any of these movies at all. Like I didn't hate Frankenstein. It's just not for me. And there it is. Number 7, controversial pick, Secret Agent. I really liked it. But I felt stupid at the end of it because I was like, I don't get it. I don't understand. Like I liked the vibe, but I feel like I need to probably watch it again.
It absolutely benefits from a second viewing.
Yeah, I think that would probably hit home a lot more what's going on. It just kind of was like,
it is a confusing ending. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just like what was it? What do we do here? Sentimental Value, number 7 for me. Again, really liked it. Loved the performances in it, but it just fell at number 7.
6, I think, right? 6.
6. Yeah, sorry, 6. Sentimental Value 6. 5, Sinners. I think part of that is that I saw it a long time ago. So everything else is a lot more fresh in my mind. I did really enjoy Sinners. And I think again, that one with a repeat viewing, and I'm more likely to rewatch that than any of the other ones so far. I think I'd probably will rewatch Sinners. So yeah, kind of a caveat there. Number 4, Hamnet. Hamnet really did surprise me. Like you guys are spot on. It is like the dial is turned all the way up on the emotional manipulation, but it works. Like the end of it worked for me. It's like so fucking sad, and you're just so goddamn sad at the end of this movie. Of all of them, though, I'm probably least likely to rewatch Hamnet. I don't think there's much of a chance that I'll ever watch it again. Not even just because of the sadness, just because of like, yep, saw it and it was a sad one. Number 3, Marty Supreme. nothing really bad to say about it. Just Marty Supreme. Number 2, Begonia. This is a tough one because I really enjoyed Begonia, but I saw it a while ago as well, like a good 6 months ago. So if I watched, well, and my number 1 is One Battle After Another, but I think if I watched One Battle After Another and Begonia in the same week, it might flip. It's tough to say. It's really hard to say. Yeah, that's my ranking.
Nice. I like it. All right. So my ranking, well, I'll go from the bottom to the top then, since that's what everybody's doing. Number 10, drain teams. For me, this is kind of like the film equivalent of like when somebody like types up a bad poem on a typewriter and takes a picture of it and posts it on Instagram. That's just me. Number 9, Hamnet. I'm with you guys that I don't hate it, and the ending actually did kind of work for me. Like I feel like it was emotionally bullying. Like they're emotionally pushing you a lot in a locker and slamming the door. But I think like there was some like backing up to the idea of, again, like, oh, turns out the artist was processing his emotions the right way the whole time. It's the same ending. But yeah, I didn't love the movie too much. Number 8, F1. Fun popcorn movie. You know, I like Brad Pitt's current phase of his career, but it didn't do too much for me other than that. Those were the 3 that I would put in like the bad movie category. Not movies I hate, but movies that I don't consider especially good. Between like 4 and 7, I could probably like shuffle them around. Even between 3 and 7, I could probably shuffle them around on different days. But what I have is I have number 7, Sinners. I like a lot of what Sinners does. We've talked about it before. As I said, I just feel like it would have gone harder in the Obama era, and ultimately feel like it's not pushing or challenging the audience enough for me to like really embrace it, I guess, even though there's a lot of good filmmaking and performances and ideas in there. All the same, it still feels like a little toothless for me, I guess. I don't know. Number 6, Sentimental Value, a movie that I do think about a lot, and I think it has a lot of good stuff there, but I don't think it's Trier's best work. I think it's a little too treacly and mushy and comforting, as we've previously discussed. Number 5, Frankenstein, which I think is corny and cheesy, and I like it. Sean, you mentioned something that I also mentioned when we talked about Frankenstein, which is so many of these movies are about being a dad, and Frankenstein I feel is one of the more interesting movies about being a dad, in a kind of a metaphorical way, and I like what Del Toro's doing there. It works for me as a gothic melodrama.
A movie about getting cucked by your son.
Number 4, Marty Supreme. I'm kind of losing patience with TikTok Scorsese, but I can't deny like how much stuff there is in Marty Supreme, how much filmmaking there is. There's despite all the frantic pace and the way that it seems desperate to constantly capture the audience's attention, there is still like I think a lot of depth and things to think about there. Number 3, Begonia, as we've discussed previously on this show, surprised me. Number 2, One Battle After Another, and number 1, The Secret Agent. This contradicts my list of the best movies of the year, where I put One Battle After Another ahead of The Secret Agent. I've reconsidered since. So many points in common between these movies. It's kind of weird how similar they are in so many ways. I've since rewatched each of them, and I think that Secret Agent has that extra juice, that extra depth that's really stuck with me. I think about that all the time, and so that's the one I'm putting at number 1.
Hell yeah.
Guys, this has been a blast. Do we have any final thoughts? Anything we're going to be looking for when Hollywood's biggest night unfolds before our eyes on Sunday? I'm saying that as if two of you guys are actually going to be watching it.
I'll Google it at 10:30 or 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta say, I'm very excited for this. I've been I'm just obviously so into the Oscars like you are. It's something I look forward to all year. And this has been an especially long season. You're right. It feels like I'm ready for it to come to an end, and I'm ready for like the long preseason for the next Oscar season to start, and like to get excited about
don't start
Oscars
talking about next year. I do not want to hear about next year yet.
March 16th.
No, let's go. We're gonna do a super early draft. But I'm looking forward to it. Like I look forward to it every year. So I'm not looking for anything particular. Some like surprises like we talked about will be a lot of fun. But yeah, just looking forward. This has been a really good race because we have so much that's kind of up in the air.
The crazy thing is it has been, and at the start of the race, it looked like it was turning out to be a really boring year, right? Like it looked like the acting races are getting settled. Everybody knows who's winning Best Picture, and now it just shows how it evolves over the course of the season. Now 3 of the 4 acting races are up in the air. Best Picture is down to 2 contenders. It is no longer a sure thing. There's some people there where I'm like, oh, well, I'm excited to see what they'll say if they get on stage and win that award. So it ended up really being a lot more exciting for me than I expected it to be. Well, this has been a slice, guys. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for doing Oscars Outsider: The Final Reckoning, the capstone on this.
We'll be back in May.
Miniseries. Great. All right. Well, I'm Dylan Ferguson. You can find me occasionally writing about movies on Substack. Just look for my name, DYLAN Ferguson, if that interests you. If you want to hear some old episodes of me talking about horror movies, look up Mind Over Splatter, which is an old horror movie show I used to do. Craig, thanks as always. Anything you wanna plug for folks out there?
Yeah, check out Bravo Outsiders, the other podcast that we've done. We've got 100 or so episodes where we are diving into the Real Housewives and other Bravo reality TV shows, analyzing themes, the shot composition, just like treating it as the serious art that it is, that no one gives it credit for. So go and check that out. We might return for some new episodes soon after we digest the Oscar season. Who knows?
Oh yeah. Sean, any final thanks so much, Sean. Any final words for our audience?
Oh yeah, always a pleasure. I also plug your Substack and Bravo Outsiders.
Right on.
What a sweetheart. Rory, thanks so much for jumping in with us again on this annual tradition. And anything anywhere you want to direct our listeners?
No, but thanks for having me. It was a blast. Watching all of, I can't wait to watch something that I choose to watch next week.
Nice. All right. Okay. Thanks everyone. Thanks for listening. Drop some comments. Let us know what you think about what we said. Let us know where we're wrong, and give us your predictions too. And we'll see who's smarter.
To do a reaction episode where we react to the Oscars.
Actually do let us know if you want us to do that, because don't twist my arm.
I did keep track of all my randomized picks here if we need the data point. So
nice. Okay. Yeah. You said that to us. Put it in the mail. All right, guys. Y'all have a great night, and enjoy the Oscars. Enjoy Hollywood's biggest night. If you haven't noticed, throughout this podcast, I've been trying to use the phrase Hollywood's biggest night as many times as possible, and I got nothing. That's just the thing I've been doing for no reason whatsoever. Good night. Bye.